All right, guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Technician Podcast. I'm here with my boy, Josh Sherwell, today. Basically, we're going to be talking everything about mental health, general well-being, talk about our stories and why we are here today. And let's get started. Got that new intro song sorted.
It's unreal. It's so good. I'm so jealous we don't have an intro song like that on our podcast.
It had to be done. Like I said, I don't know if the guy that did the song is going to hit me up for copyright, but let's just see how we go.
Keep going until you get pulled up, mate.
But mate, let's get into it. So, for anyone that doesn't know you, where are you from? What was your childhood like and where'd you grow up and everything?
Yeah, so I have been brought up on the Sunshine Coast my whole life. My family's been here for 5 generations. We're the 5th generation on the Sunshine Coast, which is, I'm not going to complain. Like, Sunshine Coast is one of the most beautiful places in the world that I've been to. Growing up through my childhood, pretty standard childhood. Mum, dad, younger brother used to beat on all the time. Came from a very, I'm not going to use the word very, I came from a Christian family.
Okay.
We don't go to church every Sunday, but we have our faith and our belief, and we open everyone with all beliefs in with open arms to our house. Like, my mum and dad have always done that. That upbringing definitely made me curious about spirituality, and it helped me develop into the person I am. I'm a very deep feeler on an emotional level.
Yep. But you've always been like that, like even at a young age and everything?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, right.
I noticed not even before I was a teenager, like probably 12 and through the 11, 12, before just going through puberty, that I was starting to feel things a lot deeper.
Okay.
Obviously when you're at that age, you sort of get called pussy, you get called, you're a girl.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, all these other things. So it's a part of myself that I neglected for a long time or hid from the outside world. Put on a bit of a bravado of this overconfident.
Putting on that mask. Yeah.
This overconfident guy. For those that don't know, I did compete professionally surfing for a few years on the junior tour. I captained Queensland to the Australian titles in 2010. I spent a lot of time pursuing professional surfing career, which ultimately ended in me being broke, working 2 days a week as a lifeguard in my parents' place.
I think that's honestly, but from anyone that I've seen chasing their dream, doing their passions, whatever it is, I think that comes with it. Yeah. And not saying everyone has to be broke to, find their passion, whatever it might be, but I think you eliminate a lot of things from your life because you're so focused on one thing, you go all in on it. A lot of things take, a backward step kind of thing. So
yeah, definitely. I noticed though for myself though, taking a step back quickly just to where I was saying I felt deeply, because we are going to be touching a lot on mental health, because it's a journey that I, over the last 18 months, have been through a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Which is why we're here now.
Yeah.
But I remember at the age of 15, I was self-harming myself. I had suicidal thoughts. And I was just thinking, why? Why am I feeling like this? And I beat myself up a lot. And the doctor would say to me, I remember going to the doctor and saying to Mum, I really want to go see a doctor and find out what's wrong with me. And, the doctor said to me at the time, because I had all these blood tests done and, there was a lot of different tests done. And he just said to me, testosterone level's too high for your body.
Yeah, right.
Explains the hairy chest, growing the beard at the age of 12, all that sort of thing. Yeah. But I said to him, I was like, surely that can't be the reason. He goes, no, well, it is. It's your testosterone level's too high. You'll grow out of it through puberty.
That's interesting.
I was like, okay, cool. So it gave me a sense of hope. I was like, okay, this guy's a medical professional. I'm going to take his advice.
Yeah, of course.
But I noticed that it wasn't getting better, and it was getting worse, if anything. And I was continuously having to find ways around this feeling and emotion that I wasn't comfortable with. And so I started drinking a lot. And like I said, I came from a Christian family. So to me, drinking was not frowned upon, but getting drunk and binging was.
Yeah, okay.
Taking drugs was frowned upon, having multiple sexual partners was frowned upon, and marriage and sex was a sacred part of our upbringing. And I was always so true of that. And then this emotional weight and this darkness that I felt led me down a path where I went back on everything that I thought I believed.
Yeah, right.
Started drinking all the time. I went from being a virgin up until the age of 17 to then just, being a whore.
Yeah.
I was fucked. I was terrible. I'd go out looking for just some form of validation through a woman.
Yep.
I started smoking pot, started taking cocaine, recreational drugs, and it slowly led me down slowly led me down a slippery slope till I was at the point where 2 years ago I didn't think I was going to come back.
From that, all the, the partying and everything, being in that situation.
And like for so long, I kept playing into this narrative that was built up that, I was the son of an ex-professional surfer. I myself had been competing professionally. I'd go out drinking and the people that were running the bars would know my dad or something. So then they'd skip me through the line and they'd give me free drinks. And like, I remember my ex-girlfriend at the time would always, whenever we'd go out, she'd be like, just pull the Sherwell card. Like, let's just skip the line. Like, wait in the line. By the way, full disclaimer, I may swear every now and again.
That's cool, mate. Yeah, we can do that because I feel like we have to keep it pretty raw, pretty natural. I think that's the best way to get the raw emotion out of most people. So
and I don't want to sugarcoat anything. Like, I want to be
of course.
Raw, because one thing that I have learnt through my mental health journey is like being vulnerable and allowing yourself to be seen by others helps you then grow because you're taking ownership of
that's cool.
that issue. So But so for so long I was getting all these royal treatments, but I was just being left feeling miserable. But I'd have to reassure myself, be like, nah, this is sick. Like, this is fun. Like, this is
what you're supposed to be doing.
You're doing stuff that most people can only are jealous of. And I'm like, well, okay. And I'll just keep doing it. And like, it even got to the point where I was dealing drugs. It got that bad. Like, I was traveling and I was needing money to get overseas. And I remember there was one time I was needing money to go over to Coachella. But this is the thing, I did need the money to get to Coachella.
Yeah, it had to happen.
I was going there to work. I was going as a tour guide, so I had to pay for my flights. And I remember I was dealing cocaine out of my mum and dad's house for like 3 months. And like, I would wake up, do a line, go to work, come back, flink bags at lunch break, go back, get people come to my office. It was hectic, man.
So how old were you when this was happening?
What am I, 27 now? I must have been 23.
Okay. Yep. So not that long ago. Like, that's... No. And to be honest, like, to see, where you are now, and obviously there's a fair journey in between now and then, but that's cool, man, because I don't know any of that, obviously.
And I haven't been public about that either.
No, and look, these things need to be talked about, though, because maybe there's other people in the same situation. I'm sure there's other guys that are going through some stuff. They're doing things they don't want to be doing, but maybe they're forced to, whether it's external forces or, just something that, you got caught up in.
Yeah.
And it's cool to hear those stories because they might listen to that, resonate with it.
Well, that's it. And like, if anyone listens to this story and they resonate with anything or resonate with nothing, like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I love them for whatever they take or don't.
Yeah, no judgment, right?
No judgment. Like, I'm just sharing my experience, and I'll use a lot of I language as an experience rather than saying this is what should be done. This is what I did, rather. Actually,
that is one thing we want to sort of get across, is that obviously we're not qualified psychologists or anything. This is just something that we've personally been through a lot. And anyone that I get on here, they're going to talk about their personal experiences, what helped them. And then, we'll share that to hopefully help other people that maybe been through a similar thing. So,
definitely.
But continue on, bro.
Man, I think like going through those years, so like when I finished high school, pursuing this dream of a professional surfer, getting drunk, living this rock star life. When it eventually did catch up to me, like, there's a lot that happened, but to sum it up, I've tried to take my own life 3 times.
Right.
And thank God, divine power, whatever you want to call it, that I didn't go through with it. And it's funny, like, the reason why I'm here is because you posted a video.
I remember the video. We was talking about that before. So
to talk about like we are powerful. Like, we all have power within us. And I remember like I'd shot off to Canada. I'd broken up with my partner at the time, who I was madly in love with at that time.
Yep.
Shot off to Canada to try reconnect with myself. I didn't like my job. I didn't like my living arrangement. Like my whole environment from every angle, work, living, love, was all just thrown.
Yeah.
It was out the door.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was just losing grip of everything, and everything was just falling around me. And so that's why I turned to drugs and alcohol to mask it and be like, no, like I'm just overthinking it, blah, blah, blah. Don't show weakness. Like we as men are told not to show your weakness, and, you know, we're meant to be strong in this, you know, masculine power. But the more I've learned is the more balance is so much more important. You know, the yin and the yang,
of course,
the masculine and the feminine, and being able to tune in and out. That camera just went out as well, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just to let you know. You tell me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things that, like, as I fell deeper into that and went through that, trying to take my life, self-harming, like there'd be times I'd go to the gym and I'd have to wear a hoodie and put this down because my wrist was just covered in cuts. Or I'd wear trackies.
Right.
Like I'm wearing all these long clothes. I look like I've just got
Super
out of
cash.
bed. Yeah, I just got out of bed.
That's good though.
But I'd go to the gym at like 9 o'clock at night, and my jumper would get stuck to my wrist from the blood.
Right.
And like it was just points I was just like trying to get this pain out of me without letting anyone see it, because no one could hold space for me at that point. But at that time, for the same reason, it was on me, because I wasn't open enough. I didn't have the guts and the courage to be open with it.
Yeah. And do you feel like, what was the support like around you? You know, what sort of people were you around at the time?
Through that time, I don't hold anyone accountable, because every decision that was made was on my own accord.
Yep.
Everyone that I had in my life during those times were amazing.
Yep.
They were great people. They loved me. My family have always loved me. Like, you know, the friends that I had at that time were good, but like, you know, when we're young, like you want to go out and party, you want to be a part of that crowd and delve into, you know, the fun, or what you think society depicts as being a really fun time.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I'd go out all the time, and like, I just didn't realize, call me young and naive or young and dumb, but I just didn't realize that, like, the more I kept doing it, the more detrimental it came to my mental health. Because mental health back then really wasn't something that was overly spoken about.
No. And do you think now it's so much better with that stuff, because obviously we have access to social media, the internet's so much easier to get onto, like your phone and everything. Obviously it's not that long ago, but I feel like in the last few years it's definitely ramped up.
I definitely agree.
But mental health has gotten worse too. You know, like I feel like I think it's gotten worse, because yes, there's more resources, but still not many people know about, you know, where is the help? What is the help?
And that's a thing, right? Like I found, so skipping forward a bit in my journey, like I remember calling my ex at one point in time when we were together, and I just bawled my eyes out. I was like, I'm done.
Were you in Canada at the time?
No, this was a year before I went to Canada.
Okay, yep.
So her and I were on and off, because I never felt good enough. I used to. I'm going to be really selective with my language here, because it's something I'm trying to do at the moment.
That's good, yeah.
Because it's something I think everyone needs to realise is your words hold a lot of weight. Regardless of whether it's just a knee-jerk response, like your body doesn't know the difference. So whatever energy you put out in that language, your body will then digest and take on and embody.
Yes.
So I don't like to say I can't do something, or like, oh no, I shouldn't do that. It's like, why can't I do that? Or I try to be more aware of the words that I use.
Yeah, that's good.
So anyway, skipping forward, like when we were together, we were on and off, because I'd never felt good enough. Whereas now I'm at a stage of practicing self-care. Anyway, we'll get into that. But I called her crying. I was like, I'm done. I'm sorry. Like, I just want to wrap my car. I literally said to her, I want to wrap this car around a tree. And she's like, please do not do that. And like, she started crying. She's like, please, can we just talk about this? So I remember we sat down at Alex Hill, and I ended it with her. I can't do this. Like, I don't feel good enough. I don't feel like I can be the partner that you need to be, the man that you need in your life to support you. And I didn't feel like the man that I need to be. And she said to me, you need to seek help. Like, please go see someone. Yeah. And I ended up booking in to see a psychologist that was recommended to me by my old roommate. And it took me 2 months to get in to see him.
Because of the wait time?
Because of the wait list. And this is what we're talking about before we start recording, is like, I believe like there's such a high demand for more psychologists, because like you said, although we're becoming more, we have more access to more resources, and, you know, people like, you know, I don't even know who to use as an example, but for me, for an example, would be Wim Hof. Like people that have gone through traumatic experiences.
Yeah.
That have now found light.
They're sharing their experiences and what helped them. And
correct.
Yeah.
And I find that even though there's a lot more people daring greatly and coming out and saying, this is what I've been through, there is hope and there is light at the end of the tunnel. That, yeah, unfortunately, we are seeing a massive rise in mental health issues, suicide rates. Like, it's insane. Broken families, like divorces are going through the roof. I feel like personally, I feel like we're living in a world that, although we're so connected through technology, and we can just call someone at the drop of a hat and be like, hey man, how are you? We're actually drifting more into a way, we're drifting apart and being disconnected, especially with the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
Like, man, you experienced it with Tam. With your partner. Like, I remember when we started talking, you were like, dude, I'm going through shit because my partner's on the other side of the world. I don't know when I'm going to see her next. And that's how you and I were able to like hold
connect
space for each other and connect.
That was an interesting year last year, man. Like I was saying before this, I feel like that opened a lot of possibilities for me and allowed me to sort of dive deeper into what I find is my passion right now and what my purpose is, which is trying to help people. Because the biggest thing, and I said this to my mate Christian, because we were both going through some tough times as well together, trying to build Arcadia and stuff together. But we said, because we know how it feels, I don't want anyone to feel this. That feeling of not knowing, that feeling of the depression was insane. You know, trying to get out of bed in the morning, you can't. It's just like and it's funny because, as we said, yes, there's information out there, but people that have never experienced before, they look at people like ourselves that may have gone through that and they can be judgmental. They can just sort of be like, why can't you just do that? And not saying everyone's like that, but I feel like there's a little bit of a stigma still towards, because it's not seen. It's not something that you can physically see. So for me and yourself, obviously, to just try to explain this is how we feel, for someone who's never experienced before, it seems impossible to understand.
And they go,
and then
they get on their haunches like, whoa, man.
Take it easy.
They don't know how to hold space for you in that emotion.
Yeah, of course.
They haven't gone through it themselves.
Yeah.
One thing that I've come to learn, having now been through it myself, is you should never discredit someone on their experience. At all. No matter how big or small or traumatic or non-traumatic it is. If someone's going through shit, you shouldn't be the one to be like, oh, you'll be fine. One thing I've started saying to friends and those close to me when they're going through a tough time is, can I offer you support or can I offer you solutions? What can I offer you? Like, how can I be of service to you?
Okay.
Because like yourself, man, like my heart is just so drawn to helping others. Like, if I could quit my job today and travel the world, bringing clean water to people like kids and families now, I would quit my job right now and be like, I'm out of here.
That's cool.
I want to be of service to the world because we are like, I've hit this sense of gratitude now where a friend of mine said to me, he's like, wherever you go, whatever you're doing, stop and smell the roses. And what he means by that is stop and just be grateful.
Grateful. Yeah. I love Grateful, bro. I watch a podcast by the boys at YKTR and, I think they took it from someone else, Kalen Ponga in that. I don't know if you know much footy, but...
Do I know footy? Sydney Rabbitoh, die hard.
Oh, yuck, get the fuck out. No. So I watch those boys and Connor Watson and that do this like, I'm grateful, and Scope and that took it on and they started doing this Grateful and I was like, that's become really cool. And because they're so well loved and well known and received by all these other boys that are within that same space who normally wouldn't do this sort of stuff, people have started doing like, I'm grateful, wake up, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And it's funny what that small thing will do because if you do that over and over and over again every day,
it's like building a house,
feeding the subconscious, right? Yeah.
And like I started practicing gratitude and self-love when I started going to Exalto last year. Because I remember like when I reached out to you, so just to put into perspective of how we got to where we are, I came back from Canada because of COVID.
When did you get back?
25th of March I flew in.
Geez, so just before.
Yeah. Just before the government enforced quarantining. And I've shared this on another podcast, and so he knows that, like, I've spoken about this before, but when we were in Canada, I thought I was going to lose my brother to a drug overdose. Like, it was the most confronting experience of my life. To, like, have to carry my brother, like, pick him up, seeing his eyes, like, oh.
Man.
It was a wild experience. I remember screaming out to God, going, "Do not take my brother right now.
Yeah.
Like, do not take my brother. Like, something can come out of this. Do not take him from me." And then the next day we're on a flight out. And I remember that when I was in quarantine, I was reaching out to my ex, trying to I set a massive list of goals, and the top of my goal was get things right with her.
Okay.
Even if it was just as a friend, I just wanted to get things right with her because she helped me so much.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there, and I was in the room in this little 2-bedroom unit during quarantine, and you posted a video about mental health and about finding power within. And I remember just sitting there, just bawling my eyes out, just crying, feeling like this point, just going like, whoa. And
so you needed that at that point, right?
Man.
Yeah.
I'd been in quarantine where we're going through a carton of beer a day. We're smoking way too much weed. I was still smoking so much weed at that point because in Canada it's all legal.
Yeah, of course.
So you walk down to the street, there's dispensaries on nearly every corner. And so when I got home,
whole new world compared to here.
Well, bro, I'm grateful for the experience, but I'm so glad that I'm not entrenched in that. And some people can find balance in that.
I was going to say, because you feel like you couldn't control yourself.
I couldn't control myself.
Yeah, and that's good. You're honest with yourself.
Yeah, coming from that place where I'd had previous addiction problems, like I had a cocaine addiction, I had a pot addiction, I had a gambling addiction. I'm like, fuck. When in 2019, I made 90 grand and I would have put about 50 through the pokies. 50 grand.
And that's real, right? That's pretty common.
Yeah. Not just pokies, but like horse racing. Like
just gambling.
Just gambling. Like I'd go to the casino, I'd just chase my losses.
But are you chasing that feeling that the gambling brings? Because there's that chemical release, right? Is it dopamine? You get the dopamine hit?
Release. Yeah. There was definitely a dopamine release, but I think about it a lot now. And not a lot now because I'm moved past it, but if I do find myself starting to think about gambling or something along those lines, it's like, think about how it made me feel when I'd put that last $50 or $100 through and I lost it all. I'm literally sitting there with an empty wallet going, shit, I just spent a whole paycheck through that thing.
Yeah, jeez.
And then the shame and the guilt that would then compound was overbearing.
Yep.
All in the meantime, I'd be walking to the toilet, doing a bump of coke, coming out, getting a schooner of beer, going slapping pokey. And I'd literally leave my office saying I'm going to an appointment. I'd go to the Creek Tavern and spend hours there.
What were you working as at the time?
I've been in real estate for the last 7 years.
So you're doing real estate? Yeah, okay, yep, cool.
So unfortunately, the freedom of that job allowed me to...
Yeah, to dabble and do your thing.
Enable me, really.
Yeah. Do you find that story that you've just told and, that lifestyle you were living... Do you find that's super common now?
Yeah.
Obviously we're not going to sit here and dob people in and stuff. But
I don't want to accuse anyone, but from someone that's experienced it, I'm a massive believer in energies. I can feel people's energies. I'm a very spiritual person.
Yeah, 100% with you.
When I connect with someone, I can connect with them through their eyes. I can connect with them through their body language. I can connect with them through, even just the tone of their voice, everything. And so sometimes I'll be sitting at the pub and I'll see these guys and I'll be looking at them and I feel for them.
Yeah.
I hurt for them.
You feel their pain.
Yeah, man.
You're an empath.
Fuck, I was there.
I've
been there. Seeing people, I won't lie. I was at the pub 2 days ago having a beer and I looked in the pokey room and I saw this guy just sitting there slouched, hitting the machine that hard. And the only thing that could come into my mind was, remember when you used to do that?
Yeah.
Remember when that was you? And
did you think about talking to him? Because I've wanted to do that before too, but
it's hard.
I don't know if you want to invade someone's personal space. You're like, who the fuck's this guy?
Well, I never had anyone come up to me.
Yeah.
Would I have received it the way that I would hope that guy would have received it if I went to him? Probably not.
Yeah.
Because
you feel judged at the time, maybe.
Yeah, I think that definitely you feel judgment, even though it's coming from a place of concern and love for a complete stranger, or how I feel
But you're right, you don't know what space he's in.
But you don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I don't know, I do believe love triumphs over all. So if you did deliver it in the right way, you could possibly get through. But at the same time, I know personally for myself, when I was in that place, no one could have told me.
Yeah.
I was telling myself, I was sitting there telling myself, don't do this. But anyone that's really that's suffered a really deep depression or gone through an addiction, it's like your body's in an autopilot that you can't switch off. And you're like, I need to get out of this.
Yeah.
How do I get out of this?
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, it took nearly losing my brother, coming back being locked up in a unit that was smaller than what you've got here, like it's half the size of this, going stir crazy, going, I need to change. Like something's not right. And if I keep going down this path, what's going to be left?
It's
Physically,
interesting.
mentally, spiritually, emotionally, what's going to be left?
Like it took that catalyst. It was that moment. Yeah. So I talk about this to a few people and I say, it was a question I had for you because obviously I want to keep this a very natural conversation, but I had a few here and it was like, it was going to be, when was it that it clicked? You know, what was that catalyst moment? So obviously...
Mate, Joel and I just got home from a night out. We'd had some shrooms, smoked a bit of weed, not too much. And then we got back and I'm a massive anime fan. Like so addicted to my anime, man. And I remember we put on Naruto and was sitting there watching it. And Joel's like, I'm gonna go have a glass of water. I'm like, yeah, man, no worries. Thought nothing of it. Just laying on this couch, fireplace on, everything's bliss. And I hear the loudest crash in the kitchen. And I was like, dude, are you all right? No response. And I freaked straight away. And I got up and he was on the floor. Like, yeah, it was pretty traumatic. And I've said this before, I'm so grateful that I had prior training with lifeguarding.
Yeah, so you kind of knew what to do and everything. Yeah,
like I'm really good at snapping into like just a sober mindset and like focus. Even when I'm intoxicated off my head, I can just switch on.
That's cool.
And I just moved everything out of the way for him. And just, oh man, like even talking about it now, I'm feeling a bit
yeah, you can, because it's like we were saying before, it takes you back to that moment, right?
Yeah.
Like the subconscious remembers how that felt.
Like, yeah, it's emotional, like physiological memory of your body.
I can tell it hurts you to talk about, man. Like that's.
But him and I have grown so much from that experience. And him and
Jolie has grown, bro.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
sure.
I'm so proud of that man.
Yeah, good dude.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things that was the catalyst, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I went, whoa. But, you know, like I said, but then I came back from quarantine and what do? We just kept drinking. We kept smoking. Why? Because I was still not ready to come to terms completely with the fact that I had issues that needed to be addressed.
Yeah. So you've had that inkling. You're like, okay, this needs to happen. But then now, because I've seen your change, bro. Like we've known each other for years. We've never known each other. Obviously, I'm best mates with Blair Tripconey, your cousin, you know, and that family, they're all beautiful people. Like, I love that family. I don't spend enough time with you guys, actually. I'd love to. But, you know, as you said, I sent that video. Now, that's one cool thing. I posted it. Not many people know this. You know, I think there's a lot of people that, because I've had this comment to me. Some guy said to me, I won't say who it was, but I was at a party and he comes up to me and he's sort of chatting. He's a little bit drunk, but that's all right. And he goes, Trav, you know, when you used to post, or when you post all that motivational stuff and that, I used to think, fuck off. You know, just stop it. Because he was in a bad space. I know that. And I know that now because I'm in it. Usually, back in the day, I would have taken that as a, what the? No, fuck you.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, that's fine, man, because I understand that you're probably in a bad space and I was probably bringing out a few insecurities and stuff. But then he said, but now that I'm in a better space and you post this stuff, it makes me feel so much better. And I love seeing it. So these little things, there's a reason why I post this stuff. I don't do it because it's for me. It's because I know someone like yourself might see it, which I've had heaps of people reach out, bro. Like, it might be 3 or 4 people just be like, hey, Trav, thanks for posting that. Really helped. And I love that. It doesn't have to be 100 people that are like, oh, yeah, like, what are you doing, Trav? Like, that's sick. I don't do it for the adulation or, you know, the congratulations. I want someone to feel what I feel when I watch, like, a really cool video about, like, every morning, bro, I wake up, and probably pisses Tams off, but I've tried to put my headphones on usually, but I'll be sitting there, I'll be on the toilet just listening to like, you are the man, like Tony Robbins or some shit, you know, just feeding my subconscious that I can do this.
You got this.
Yeah. So self-affirmations are super important. Huge. You know, even just, I went through a space when I was seeing my psychologist, he said, put a couple little notes on your mirror, because when you walk in, they see it in the bathroom in the morning, and just write on there, I'm the man, I can do this. Whatever it might be. Some sort of self-affirmation that you can read out, physically look at yourself in the mirror and just like, even the Superman pose, do the old, yes, you know, and it sounds kooky, but when you're open to it, you're like, fuck, that makes so much sense.
And I like what you just said, when you're open to it.
Yeah.
And I think we live in a society, I think we're becoming more awake. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't want to use the word woke, but we are becoming more awake and aware.
Yeah.
That when you are open to receiving new codes in your brain
and being different,
that like you could find something out about yourself that you have any idea about. Self-affirmations, man, huge. I could not agree with you more. Like my roommate and I, we write in our fridge, and this is again thanks to what we've practiced at Exalto, is you write 3 things that we're grateful for. And when I say grateful for, it's like, oh, you know, I'm grateful for my life. It's like, no, like I'll actually take a minute, I'll take a breath, and I go, okay, what right now, like when I think about it, gives me those warm and fuzzies that I'm grateful for. And then I'll write them down in the fridge, and they'll be like self-love. Okay, what are 3 things about myself right in this moment that I'm, you know, proud of myself about? It's not coming from a sense of ego.
Yeah.
It's literally just coming from the fact that you can be like, you know what, you could be having a tough day, but, you know, I'm happy for the fact that I'm healthy. You know, I'm happy for the fact that I'm being more emotionally aware. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that, you know, I can look in the mirror and for the first, like, there was a lot of times I hated who I saw in the mirror. But I'd sometimes write, like, self-love, who I see in the mirror. And then my affirmations will be like, I am worthy. I am enough. I've got this.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, some people may think it's kooky, but, like, everyone's on their own journey.
Yeah.
And no one journey's right and one journey's wrong. Like, at the end of the day, like, there's a grand design for everyone's individual life.
Yeah, and everything works differently for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
I'd love to actually expand on Exalto and Jordan Potsy, because one of the questions was who has been the biggest influence in your life. Mm-hmm. I know there's obviously a few, like your parents and stuff, and your mates, but I'd like to really focus on, because we've gone through, you've grown up, you've been through your party phase, becoming your professional surfer. You tried that. I think we have very similar paths there. When I don't know if you remember me talking about how I was going to be a professional football player.
Yeah, you were into your footy big time when we were young.
Yeah, so, you know, I had the contract there, ready to take it with the Bronx, and then I was like, nah, jokes, don't want to. Now, if we go deeper on that, obviously it had a lot to do with how I felt with footy and stuff at the time. I was terrified to go to training.
Really?
I was so scared to go to training down in Brizzy with Dad, because I was so awkward at the time and shy. I didn't want to fucking meet all these new boys that I had no idea who they were. I thought they were way better.
Isn't that wild? Because I would never have picked that.
See, I'm completely different, dude. When I was 14, 15, 16 at school and stuff, you know, I was still trav, like I was still like but I was just this super insecure, anxious kid, bro. Like I would hide away I'm a big time gamer, still am.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nah, and I actually see it as a form of meditation, because it brings you to the present, because you're focusing on problem solving and that sort of thing on the game.
There's a lot of concentration involved, yeah.
Man, my hand-eye coordination is hectic. You could throw something at me right now. Yeah. Oh, shit. I mean, try again. But heck, like, honestly, like, all those times back then, and if I knew I had to go to training, 2 weeks leading up to it, I'd get into severe depression.
Wow.
Fuck, dude, I didn't want to go. I would try to come up with any excuse, but Dad had to be like, nah, you're going, like, this is what you want. Was
it like a physical as well as like a mental block?
Yeah.
Like what made your body retract when you want, like, because that's huge. So obviously for someone looking from the outside in, like, I love footy. So if I were in that position, like, I quit footy when I was young to pursue surfing.
Yeah.
If I had been offered a contract, I'd be like, fucking sweet.
This is what I want. Yeah.
Right. But
of course.
At the same time, I get what you're saying, because like for me, myself personally in surfing, I'd feel the same every time I'd walk down and see guys sponsor, but they're better than me.
Of course, yeah.
I was defeated before I'd even started.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, just the way I was programmed at the time, I judged myself so hard, man. Like, because I was always bigger than everyone. I was a fucking giant of a kid.
Big Trav, that was the nickname.
I was the freak that they'd have to come out and play at the graveyard at Stanley Rivers when we didn't have to wear boots when playing. And then I'm running around like the size of like an adult, fully grown adult. I had parents yelling at me one time because I hurt their kid so bad.
Where's his birth certificate?
Yeah, and they're like, get him off the field. He shouldn't be playing, like stuff like that. And, you know, all these things externally eventually told me to be more conceited, be shy, you shouldn't be big and loud because you're already big. You know, maybe that's, as I look back, I'm like, maybe I acted so shy and everything because I felt like, because I was such a big, scary looking dude, even though I had the baby face, I felt like I had to act the way I did and be shy and be introverted. And, you know, I don't know whether it was, again, the people I was around, because I had an amazing support network, good mates, good family. But, at the time, I don't know if I ever loved footy, maybe. I was good at it, and I was always naturally talented. Like, everything I do, usually I'm pretty good at it, which sucks because you're never taught to get through that adversity. So again, I was a terrible trainer, hated fitness and stuff, but somehow I still played games and did really well.
Yeah.
But, you know, knowing I used to get super nervous going to training because of the fitness aspect, or training because I knew I was shit in the gym. You know, I wasn't strong, but when I got in the field, perfect. And my mate used to call me Tarzan because I trained like Jane, play like Tarzan. So I was fucking shit in the gym. Tyson Musket, I remember you, boy. Yeah. He's one of my good mates. He's a legend, but he used to always like take the piss out of me for that. But all these factors, bro, they came into it, and it just, I'm sure, you know, being an athlete at the time, as like you were, there's so much pressure with to perform as well, and what's expected from you as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, big time. Especially like I found myself personally, like when I decided to quit footy and pursue surfing, it's like I literally made the conscious decision to step into my father's shadow. And then there was already a benchmark of like what my dad had accomplished. And then what was I going to accomplish in afterwards?
So were you comparing yourself a lot?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I go stay at my grandparents' house all the time. And we'll get back to your, you know, who's influenced you. Because my two main ones have been my grandfather. And my grandfather's been the biggest influence in my life. Of recent times, after like through my mental health battle, it's been Potsy. He's been a massive impact in my life.
Dude. Yeah, he's amazing, eh?
But yeah, like, I remember going to my grandparents all the time and there'd be that many trophies. So many trophies of my dad's. Like, I was so proud of him. And so I was always brought up, and like he was on the news, and you know, people would write about him in the paper of being ex-professional. So blah 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 blah. So I was just like, you know what, fuck this. I want to be better. Like, so I say to him, I'm going to be world champ. I'm going to be world champ. But did I actually feel that? Like, did I have the personal conviction to say that's what I want? No.
Yep.
It was easy. It was convenient that I was born to the sun. I was the son of a professional pro surfer. So, of course, I'm going to try to pursue it because it's convenient.
Yep.
I've got the in. I've got the network. Yeah, I'm naturally good at it.
Yep.
Am I the best at it? God, no, far from it. But it's only taken me until, you know, when I decided to, you know, hang up the leggy. And I was just like, you know, I'll never be the best, but I gave it my best.
Yeah, you had to go.
Yeah, I still gave it a crack.
Yeah, and you never regret the decisions that you make back then. Mate, it's like,
I've made some incredible friends.
Yeah.
Some of which are on the world tour now, and I watch them, and I'm just like so proud. I'm like, yeah, get it.
That's
like,
one of the boys. Yeah,
and
that's the beautiful part about sport.
Yeah,
you know, those boys that went on to play NRL, which they still are today. You know, Andrew McCulloch, Josh Maguire, Ben Hunt, like these boys, man. And which is the really cool thing. Even though I never really went through the full program and everything, whenever I see Macca or Joshy out, they remember me. They'll be like, hey, bro, how you been? What's been happening? Genuinely good dudes.
So it's a family.
Dude, and you go through some tough times, and they understand that. And I think as much as NRL players are portrayed as scumbags, whatever they might be, they're usually good people, man. There's a lot of really good guys. Yeah.
We're all human.
Yep.
No matter what we do wrong.
We make mistakes, bro. Yeah, and it's just that a lot of not normal, just general population, you don't get your shit air dried out in the news and stuff. You know, people don't learn about your mistakes and your fuck ups. So, you know, no one's perfect. As you just said, we're all human. I've made my mistakes in the past, and I'm sure I'll still make plenty of mistakes and say some stupid shit. But like you said, it's part of who we are.
It's part of learning. It's part of growing. So, on your question, like, who have been my influences? Like, my grandfather played a massive role for me, and he unfortunately passed away. He passed away 2 years ago, and he lasted longer than expected. He got bowel cancer, and they're like, he's got a year to live, and he ended up lasting like another 4 years.
Beast. How old was he?
He passed away at 86.
That's solid. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good effort.
Like, I was there when he, his last moment of consciousness. Like, I made the decision to stay in palliative care with him that night. Cool. I felt my spirit telling me, be with him tonight. And everyone's like, do you want to do this? This could be traumatic to you. And I said, no, like, this man has shaped me into who I am.
Yeah.
And I want to be there. Even if he can't hear me, even if he can't respond, that I can tell him every last word that I want to tell him, so that when he goes, I don't regret not saying something to him.
He would have appreciated that, man.
Oh, mate, I feel him with me every time. Like, every time I go, Granddad, like, I need some advice. Fuck, I need help. He'll be like, boom, there it is.
That's cool.
The one thing he's given me over the last year last 6 months is trust and be patient. Those words, clear as day, in his voice. I remember I was like going through a really depressive state, and I was like, what the fuck do I do? Literally, I was sitting there, fuck.
Oh, I know them feels.
Yeah, man. I think everyone's probably had that experience. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I don't know what movie it is, that guy watering the garden. He's like, sometimes I just don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, that's...
Oh, yeah.
You know the one? Like, that's how I feel.
The old dude, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But I just remember, like, one thing my grandfather said to me before he went to palliative care is I sat with him up by his bed and held his hand, and he told me about, like, when he was growing up, his mum used to always have ginger beer or beer in the fridge in case someone came over to see his dad. And he said, Josh, make sure you always have 2 beers in the fridge. And I was like, why? He goes, because you never know when someone's going to come over and they're going to want to have a chat.
That's cool.
And I went, whoa. And, like, this is coming from a guy that, like, he wasn't born into a Christian family, but he was born again through my grandmother.
Yeah, okay.
And he wasn't a judgmental person at all. Anyone that met my grandfather thought he was just salt of the earth, humans, and to this day, I'm so grateful for every moment I got to spend with that man. But yeah, for him to turn around and he's just like, Josh, make sure you got beers in the fridge.
Beers in the fridge.
And I'm like,
beers for the boys.
I've never seen you drink a beer in my life. Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind. But it's something that I've stuck with. But like, the way that he was able to go through his life and hold everyone he met in a place of love is something.
No judgment.
No judgment,
Yeah.
man. And like, he wasn't one to just respond, just knee-jerk response. Like, I'd sit with him. There'd be times I'd just go up and sit with him. Like, I need to have a chat. Still to this day, I'll go to his grave, like where he's buried, and I'll sit there and be like, we need to have a chat. And I'll sit there and I'll talk to him, and he'd never be one to just respond straight away. He was never quick to respond. He'd always sit there and be like, all right. And he'd hit me with a truth bomb. I'd be like, whoa.
I love that. So recently, not to interject too much, but so from what I've seen, what it is, don't react, respond.
Yeah.
So the difference between reacting and responding is 10 seconds.
Yeah, right.
So because look, I still do it. Tams might say something that hits me and I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Like, but if you take the time, like your grandfather obviously did, you just take it in, breathe, think for a sec. You don't have to just react and say something. It's all right, cool, respond. Yeah. Let's talk. Yeah. So continue on with that.
Yeah, and like, it's something that I try to do now is like, when someone asks something, it's like, don't react, because the way he was able to hold people in love and like understand circumstances. Like, there's a story that I won't go into detail about, but it was something. It was a family issue, and I remember just how calm he was, and all of us are like
freaking out.
There was rage, there was anger, there was bitterness, there was all these like low frequency emotions flying through the family, but he just sat there, and he just had this like calming aura about him, and he'd just be like, all right, this is what we have to do, and this is what we're going to do as a family. And I'll just be like, whoa, like, you are something else.
Yeah, and I'm sure it sounds like losing someone like that out of your life is a big part, but like you said, you still feel his presence.
Oh man.
You know, and he's given you so much, obviously.
Yeah.
So
I used to always say, it's like, well, the day he goes will be the worst day of my life. And it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
It's part of it, right? It's part of life.
Oh, I think the night that I spent there, then last night, he had like a moment of consciousness. Like, he came to, and I was talking with him. He came to, he's like, where's Mama? He's like, get Mama. And it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. Like, I didn't sleep. So I was calling Dad, and Mum was like, get Mama here now, quick, get down here. Meanwhile, they're up in back of Budrum, and we're at Cleandra Respite. So they got there about 3:30, and he got to have his last moment of consciousness with his wife.
That's cool.
And I straight away went, yep, I've done the right thing by coming here tonight.
Yep.
And
you were there for him.
I was there for him. And
that's huge.
He was always been a massive pillar of strength in my life. And he also asked me to be that pillar of strength for him when he lost his daughter and son-in-law in a car accident. So yeah, my auntie and uncle both passed in a car accident, who are another two pivotal in my upbringing. They're so lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only time I ever saw him cry, and he came up to me and hugged me. He said, I need you to be my pillar of strength. And I went, yep.
Ooh, okay. So it's like roles reversed.
Yeah. And oh man, that man was something else. So yeah, to this day, I still feel his presence when I need it.
That's so that's someone in your life that has been a part of it and is still obviously part of it. And, that's your journey up until, I would say, from when I've seen you really change, it's been the last year or so. And you mentioned Potsy from his alto. So let's talk about Jordan. What has he, because from what I've seen, bro, and obviously this is just externally watching on social media and stuff, as most people do. You don't see all the ins and outs and what you're going through at home. But obviously Jordan, if we mention this, it's weird we talk about energy and all this sort of stuff. So I saw his Instagram.
I can feel his ears pricking up right now.
Yeah, bro, the little Yoda ears. Yeah. Bro, like, I swear to God, I think I told him this, but I saw his Instagram one day and I go to Tams. I was like, oh, dude, I love this dude's content. Like, look at this. I kid you not, 6 days later at Kiwana Markets, Andy Heaton hit me up to go, let's go to markets in the morning. I was like, all right. Don't really go to the markets, but sick. Caught up with him and his missus, and we're walking, and Potsy's there. And I was like, oh, I know this guy. Holy shit. Wait a second. And then we start talking, and the vibe, bro, just like we're saying, energy, connection straight away. And he goes to me, he asked me, hey, do you want to come back to my place this afternoon for ice baths and Wim Hof breathing? Because we were sort of talking about that stuff. Yeah. I started to learn about it purely based off the fact that last year I was in fucking one of the worst spaces I've been mentally because of the stuff with Tams. So we get to the point where I'm like, bit weird, but all right, let's go. And but this is me opening up to being open to this sort of stuff. So I'm still on my stage of questioning this sort of thing.
I was going to say there's still some skepticism about it, like, what am I getting into?
Yeah, but I got there and he just, I took my mate Christian, Palu, because I felt like it'd be really, I feel like it'd be benefit him heaps too because he's going through his own thing. We got there and Potsy hands me some juggling balls. I was thinking, what? What do you mean? But started doing it. I was like, okay, I get it. It's making me focus. It's making me come to this moment. And then we led on to, he took me, Andy, Christian, a couple others, and we were doing our breathing, a Wim Hof session. Amazing. I felt like I could run through a fucking brick wall. And then he got me in the ice box. Bro, I sat in that water for 5 minutes, no issues.
Is that your first time?
First time. Literally didn't move. I was just like, this is sick. So ever since then, I've got so much appreciation for what he does and his content and everything. I've taken on, look, I'm not going to lie, I don't do my breathing and my cold showers and stuff often enough. I still do them, but I haven't got a consistency out of it. But I can see the benefit in it hugely.
But you probably only do it when your body tells you to do it.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is fine. Like, that's one
you listen to your body.
Yeah, man. That's one thing I'm massive on. That's one thing Jordan's taught me a lot.
He's taught you all this stuff too. Yeah.
So he came into my life just before I fell into my bad addictions. And same thing. He's like, all right, we're going to start this gym session. This is at Core Strength Fitness. He's like, we're going to start this gym session with breath work. And we're all just like, everyone was a bit like thrown, but I was like, sick. Like, let's go. Let's find out what this is about.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to do some Wim Hof. And I thought Wim Hof was like a method of breathing. I didn't know Wim Hof was a guy.
So you didn't know about him at the time?
No idea.
Okay.
But I didn't know who Jordan was either. And I went through the Wim Hof with him and my whole body was tingling and I had like a euphoric moment. And I remember just in my heart, my subconscious told me, like, this man's going to play a big role in your life. Whether it's now or in the future, there's something about this man that's going to be a massive shift in your life.
Yep.
And this is the thing, like I've said, I'm really open spiritually. So like when my subconscious or when my soul or my psyche tells me something, I usually try to listen because it's telling me something for a reason.
Fuck, that's trippy, bro, because I got to tell you this.
Yeah, tell me.
I got to tell you this because, like, I got this exact same feeling. You know, when you just meet someone, you're like, I need to be around this guy. I went the opposite way because I was in such a headspace at the time. He scared me.
Oh, it's confronting, man.
And Potsy, straight up, bro, he was so awesome, intense, successful. This is what I saw. I don't know his story and stuff, but for me, it was like, Jesus, I don't want to be around this guy. He's going to make me do stuff that's out of my comfort zone. He's going to make me do things that'll probably get me to where I need to be.
But I'm not ready just yet.
Yeah, and I kept making excuses. I was like, he lived just there.
Yeah.
Literally down the road.
You could walk there in 2 minutes.
I could have walked there in 2 minutes, could have done this stuff. I could have become a real movement coach. I could have done all this stuff. And I knew I probably should have done it. But my body, I don't know if this is something I've always had, probably is. I've always ruined a lot of opportunities. Through my head, my little roommate inside being an absolute asshole, saying, no, don't go there. You're not worthy. You don't deserve that. You're not good enough for that. And this is talking about footy again. Same little guy was in my head.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Taking me away from opportunities. And this shit happens, used to happen all the time. I'm much better now. I'm open to shit, bro.
Yeah,
I understand that off the back of losing a few mates, passing away and stuff, it makes you realise life's very, very fucking short. If you're going to worry about having to do a couple of things that are a bit outside your comfort zone, you're not going to do anything.
You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Tomorrow's not guaranteed.
It's kind of scary, man, because I've got a few issues with my heart I haven't really told many people about. A few other gut issues and stuff that scared the crap out of me recently. But again, just take it on and get it sorted. There's nothing I can do. But they're things that they make you question your mortality. And it's something that I find myself deep in thought about a lot with the whole, holy shit, I could die tomorrow. I could die today.
Yeah.
Walking you out the door, I trip and fall.
And man, you got to, I think, myself personally, I've come to terms where it's like, if I die today, am I happy?
That's cool.
I'm like, yeah. I went up Double Island 2 days ago, and I went up by myself because I spiritually, mentally, everything. Like, if you go on my Instagram, you'll see a post that I did about it.
Saw that, man. Yeah, that was cool.
And I felt like I had to share it because, and again, this is coming from the impact Potsy's made on my life, and I'll get back to the story with him because, 4 or 5 years ago that he came into my life, but it wasn't until last year that we're really reconnected.
Oh, so you'd met him before?
Yeah, I met him before I started at Exalto, when he was only just starting to come up through his training.
So how long's he had the gym for?
He's at Exalto now, don't hold me to it, 2.5 years.
Right, so he was still in his phase when you met him the first time.
I did one of the first sessions when he first opened Exalto, and it was a small little studio. It wasn't a big gym. And but yeah, so basically, I just my body and my soul and the energy was just like, whoa, I was off. Going back to the juggling metaphor. Juggling is a big thing in Exalto, but I was juggling everything, and like if you read the post, I say I'm juggling my work, I'm juggling relationships, I'm juggling social life, I'm juggling, I'm trying to organise a charity event at the moment, and it literally got to the point where in my being, I was like, I've got to fucking stop, otherwise I'm not going to have anything to give anyone.
You're going to burn out.
Yeah, man. And so I took time. I messaged the girl that I was seeing. I was like, I'm out of here. Like, if you can't contact me, like, I'm not dead. Like, I'm just going out of reception. I'll let everyone know I just need to switch off. And I remember going up the beach and crying as I hit the sand, and a song came on called Wish Man by Trevor Hall. And it's about him playing a gig, and he meets this homeless guy, and this homeless guy calls him over. He's like, hey, Wish Man, come here and tell me, like, what do you wish for? And I was like, whoa. And like, my roommate invited me on this song. So this song just came on shuffle, and I started crying, and I started screaming out, going, am I on the right path? Like, am I going down this plan that is meant for my life, that's a life of abundance? Like, I'm searching for answers, and it was such a spiritually awakening 24 hours on my own in nature, where I switched off from everything.
Fuck.
And I sat there looking at the stars, couldn't have a fire, so I literally just stargazed, and I just question question myself, question what I'm doing, question my relationships, question my work, question my approach to this event. Like, again, am I on the right track?
Yeah.
And then just as I said that, my grandfather came straight over me and said, trust and be patient. That same mantra
words
came straight back, trust and be patient.
Yep. And
I'll tell you what, I came back yesterday, and Alicia, the girl I'm seeing, she said to me when we caught up for lunch, she goes, you have a glow about you.
Yeah.
You're glowing. And I was like, well, I feel like my cup is full.
That's cool.
And I think for so long, like we're all caught up in this hustle and bustle of going through the day-to-day life, that we also forget that sometimes we just need to down-regulate, and we need to stop. We need to sit there and be like, all right, I need to reset. I need to replenish my cup, because I can't keep giving myself out to others if I'm not able to be present and be 100% me.
Yeah, that's one thing I've missed out on recently. If you could say, I know that it's different for everyone, but would you say you'd have to do it maybe once a month, once a fortnight?
To be honest, no. Like, I just do it when my body tells me.
When you need it, okay, yeah.
And that's another thing is, again, this is a long-winded way to come back to how Jordan's impacted my life.
No, this is good, because this is how it's great, because you'll have little things pop up.
Yeah.
And as much as we might diverge off into these little paths, it's all got a big story.
It's all a part of it. And like, one thing he's taught is like listening to your body, like being intuitive. Okay, how do I feel about this? How does my gut feel when I eat this? How do I feel when I drink this, or put myself into this social surrounding or setting? And, I love the fact with Jordan, when I came into Exalto, the smile that he had when I first walked in for my first day, And it was just like, this was a long time coming. Like, yeah, him and I, like, we both knew. We still have a giggle about it to this day.
Yeah.
Like, I messaged him. He's very outspoken. He does a lot of research, independent research. And
I love his opinions, bro.
oh, mate.
He doesn't care. Like, he just says what he needs to say.
He says what he believes with the research that he's done.
And stands behind it.
And he stands behind it because that's what he believes. And I back that.
100%.
I think a lot of people are so easy to be, because I myself was misled or, you know, told what to believe by others, but he goes out and sources his own. And I find it so powerful. And it's helped me with my growth, figure out how I can be more authentic to myself. But yeah, I remember, like, Jordan, we were talking the other day, and I said to him, I was like, bro, I'm so grateful for you. The impact that you've made on my life in the last 12 months is huge. And not just him, like everyone involved with Exalto.
Yeah.
Everyone
like
Exalto.
Cal
Connor,
and Jake,
Cal,
and the boys
Jake,
there.
the boys at Corrective Culture, which I just came from. You know, like I've had back issues for years, like crippling back issues that I can't get out of bed.
Lower back?
Lower back.
Yeah.
2 degenerative discs in my L4, L5.
Ooh.
To the point where, like, I had to use my grandfather's cane to get to the toilet, and I was pretty bad. I was on all these Oxycontins and all these painkillers to try, like...
Jesus.
It's hectic. And that, again, this is all coming through while I was going through a drug addiction. So like, then I've got prescription meds on top of it. So it was hectic.
Yeah.
But since I've been going to Exalto, I haven't been taking my meds. Haven't been taking painkillers. I haven't had any back pain. You know, my mental health is... I still pinch myself at times. And, like, people can listen to the way I talk. And, like, there's no way this guy was suicidal.
Yeah.
Like, even to me right now, I listen to sometimes how I speak. And I'm like, whoa, that was how I lived back then. That's how I felt back then.
It's crazy, bro. And your body was reacting to that lifestyle, right?
Yeah, man.
You know, it's funny because everyone talks about, like, I know even my grandma, she's always about, like, I need my blood pills and all sort of stuff. I'm like, it sucks because they've come up in a different sort of era, obviously. But same thing, Potsy was the big part, him and a few other people. I started looking into that real movement coaching and stuff like that, and carnivore eating, and mate, it's opened my whole world. I haven't had to take any sort of supplements and stuff. Like, obviously I have protein after my training and, you know, general wealth and health, like health and well-being. And, you know, just general stuff is just learning about nutrition and how important it is to the whole body, not just trying to maintain weight and shit. It's like everything, even this up here.
It's like you were saying before, how you've got gut issues, right?
Yep.
Like, so for me, when I got back from Canada, I was 105 kilos. I was huge.
Big boy.
I was a big boy. Yeah. Like, jump on my Instagram, anyone have a look. I was big boy.
Yeah. And again, like, not that anyone care, or I wouldn't care, like, how you look and stuff, but how you felt was what the biggest part was, right?
Correct. And the thing is, like, everyone... I'm a massive believer in positive self-image. As long as you love who you see and you genuinely, to a deeper level, love who you see, I'll never bear judgment on you.
Yeah. You don't want to be walking into the mirror in the morning being like, ew.
Yeah. And I was for ages, man.
Yeah, okay.
I sometimes could not make eye contact with myself in the mirror.
That's
because
tough.
I hated who I saw.
I've heard that a few times, bro, from a few people, some good mates too.
And it's challenging because at the end of the day, and Paul Chek says it's like, who is there left to love you other than yourself? At the end of the day, the only person that can really, truly love you when everything else is gone is yourself. And if you can't do that, well, you're already fighting an uphill battle for a long time.
Dude, it's so true. Like, there's that statement or that quote, I think it reads as, if there's no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot harm you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, it's, I don't know if that's exact reading of it.
Those words ring true.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? Because, like, if you believe in yourself and you're comfortable in your own skin and you believe everything you do and you're feeling good, you don't give a fuck what anyone thinks or says or does, man. Like, obviously, to a degree, you love your family, friends, you want to help everyone and, you know, maybe help them with certain things they're doing. But end of the day, it only really matters what you're doing and how you feel within your life.
Yeah, completely. And, like, you know, I think right now as well, we're living in a time where people are talking about it's all right to be selfish. And I agree. Like, there's definitely points in life where it is healthy to be selfish, but not at the expense of someone else.
No.
There's definitely selfish needs and selfless needs, but I think there's obviously balance there. But, you know, I know for a fact with myself that I got told when I was younger playing footy by my coach, he said, you've got to be selfish. Stop trying to please everyone else because you're not pleasing yourself and you're not being true to yourself. I was like 12 at the time, so this to me was like,
what?
Little bit of what?
Excuse me?
Little bit over the head, but like at the same time, I was like, you know what, you're right. And then that's when I quit footy and took up surfing.
Yep.
And so I think like we live in a society now where people are so easy to conform or so easy to say yes and do all these things that actually aren't benefiting them. They got to take that selfish stance, be like, you know what, that's not serving me on a higher purpose.
Yeah.
How can I change this? How can I redirect that energy into something that is going to benefit me on a higher level and going to make me a better me?
Of course.
Because it hurts. Like, it really hurts me when I see people, and like I'm guilty of it myself, like going through things that don't serve you in a higher purpose, because that energy is then expelled onto all those around you, and everyone feels it. Like, you can pick up on that energy so easily.
Oh man, I was learning about something the other day where, I don't know if you've heard of Heavy Checklist.
No.
So it's Heavy D and the boys, the Diesel brothers. They started a podcast which is focusing on mental health and stuff, and they got this guy on, Mike. He's incredible. He does heart math. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Interesting. I want to get.
It's incredible, bro. So I've watched it a few times to try to remember it, but I've got a terrible memory, probably because of all the concussions. But basically, they talk about obviously a lot of different things. But one part, they're talking about how Heavy D, because he's super famous, over in America, he's like, he was having these knee-jerk reactions like we're talking about before, where he'll be at the petrol station and some fan will come up and ready to talk to him, and he's thinking, oh, here he comes, I don't want to fucking talk to him, because the perception of it, so what that was, all that reaction that he wanted to straight away, the energy was coming out negatively, is because in his mind, this dude's about to steal his time. Mm-hmm. So his whole core belief was that anyone that was trying to talk to him outside of his work and everything, they're stealing his time. So that then is a basis of how he reacts to every situation leading forward for that day. So if he's trying to do something, someone comes up, he's already in a pissed off mood. And that person can feel it. And they talk about it, if it's just a stranger, cool. They can come, they try to talk, and Heavy D's a dick, walks away. But what about the people that are in his life? People that, his wife and stuff, he comes home, she's trying to talk to him and he's not giving her anything because he doesn't want his time taken away. So she's sitting there talking more and more, trying to get it out because she feels awkward now. She feels that energy. She's like, fuck, what have I done wrong? Keeps trying to talk and it's just worse and worse. So, man, there's so much to unpack from those 3 episodes. But
I feel that, hey. Like, I feel like I've been there where I'm like, oh.
I think most people do.
Yeah, I think when you become aware of it, you realise that you've been in that space.
Yeah.
And it's, again, coming back to self-awareness, being aware. I think something that obviously back when I was going through my addiction, like gambling, and I was aware that I had to stop and I had an issue, but I didn't really have anything to go toward. I didn't have anything to go, all right, once I quit this and once I do stop this, okay, what am I going to do? I didn't have the tools or the structure to move into a healthier lifestyle, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or I guess I couldn't step into my truth because I wasn't ready to.
Yeah, you weren't ready for it. Yeah, that's cool. So, and it's like, you talked about you being 105 kilos, you said.
Yeah.
What did you get down to and how did you do it?
Got down to 82.5 kilos.
How long did it take you? Like 2 months or something, you said?
Yeah, it would have taken me just over 2 months.
That's very quick.
So speaking about carnivore diet, with Jordan, I've heard heaps of podcasts on it. I've watched him do it. I don't myself believe that that's the answer to my body.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I've tried it for a couple of weeks and I don't know. I think I just like veggies and fruits and stuff too much.
I was the same, bro. Yeah, I got back to that. Yeah, I understood that I needed more fiber in my life for bowel movements and stuff like that. Not that saying the carnivore works for a lot of people.
Yeah,
it does.
Correct.
But you're right. You listen to your body. And
listen to your body.
Yep.
And being more aware of what your body wants, to me personally, makes you live I've lived a healthier life and a happier life since I've been more in tune. But I was 105 kilos. And even in Canada, Joel and I were eating vegetarian. For the most part, I was a vegetarian in Canada. Why? Because the meat produce that we had access to was poor quality.
Wasn't great, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a massive, I only eat organic and I really sacrifice a lot of, hold on, I'm not going to use the word sacrifice. I compromise where I put my money, so I invest more into my health now than what I used to.
You choose that.
Correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Canada, we were eating veggie, but I still came back weighing 105 kilo.
Yeah.
To what I saw in the mirror, I was an overweight, unhappy, depressed piece of shit. to be completely honest about how I felt.
When you came back and you did look how you looked, did you have a lot of people judging you? Like, saying, you get the typical, one of the boys be like, oh, bro, you got fat, or like you put on a bit of weight, eh?
I was already carrying a lot of weight before I left.
Okay.
I have no one to blame other than myself.
Yeah.
I just had poor food choices. I didn't know the how much the saying is true. That's like, you are what you eat. Mm-hmm. You are what you eat. What you put into your body, you then embody that. Fruit, that meat, whatever it may be, like you're embodying that. And so if you're putting in Macca's every day or KFC every day, like you're going to turn into a processed, fatty piece of shit like I did.
I think we've all been through that.
Oh, mate,
God damn.
I may have been guilty of buying KFC the other day when I was hungover.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, you get that.
I still, pizza once a week, Pizza Hut, whatever.
And like, to me, that's fine. Like, I don't judge anyone on that. But when I got back, I just said to Giles, I need to start eating meat. Like, I feel like my body's asking me to eat meat.
Yep.
And so I was training a bit, just doing home workouts and stuff, because I had a Cert 3 and 4 in fitness from years and years back. And Joel's also pretty cute on, like, my brother's always been.
He's a trainer, hey?
Yeah, he's a trainer. He's doing his ATG stuff at the moment.
Nice.
With Real Movement, so I'm proud of him for that. But yeah, him and I would just start doing our little stuff, and I'd start to drop weight, because obviously I was eating not a lot of meat. My portion sizes were small. I was just being conscious. But then it wasn't until I said to Jordan and Nicola, his partner, when they were living around the corner here, I said, I feel like I'm about to have a breakthrough, but I'm hitting a wall. I don't know what the fuck's stopping me. And so they said, well, why don't you go do a breath rebirthing? So if anyone doesn't know what a breath rebirthing is, you go and see a guide or someone that's experienced in it. I see this lovely lady by the name of Nicole. She's been like an angel to me. And I went up and didn't know what to expect. I did go in there with an intention, which I now don't. I go into a breath rebirthing with no intention other than to just lose myself.
Right.
And you go up there and she's got like the crystal bowls and burns sage, and she puts you down and she just guides you through breathing. And I just got lost. Like, I go in this euphoric state. Where to my personal belief, I saw my depiction of was Jesus Christ sitting in front of me with flames coming out of one hand and ice shards coming out of another. And I was just like, whoa. And then all of a sudden I went through his third eye. And
third eye opened.
And then I came back and she brought me back. And I was like, whoa, like, what the fuck just happened?
That is cool.
So, like, breath rebirth, Jordan's like, go do that. So I went and did that. I was like, wow, that's eye-opening.
Let's gas her up, bro. What's the name? What's the full, like, business name and stuff?
Oh, forgive me, Nicole. I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Well, where can people find her? Because
my phone's up there.
That's right. Well, what we can do, we can link that.
We'll put her Instagram in the description. I go see her maybe every couple of months, or when I feel like my soul's like, I need a rebirth.
Cool, because that's exactly the type of stuff that I want through this. As long as we're talking about cool stories, hey, you went through your stuff, but then there's that value of, I've met this person who's changed my life. Well, fuck, cool, let's put this on there. You really need
to be open to it, though.
Yeah, obviously, like me, I didn't question it. When you just said all those things, I was like, sick. But then someone who's not open to it will be like, what do you mean?
Well, the thing is
third eye?
Like, for me, being from a Christian family, I'm stepping into someone that's performing Reiki on me. I'm stepping into someone where, like, she doesn't believe in Jesus Christ. Like, to my family, they're like, no, you shouldn't be doing that. But to me, it's like, well, no, I'm delving into my spirituality deeper.
Yep.
And I'm doing my inner work. And I found that every time I've since gone to her, I come to giggling, happy, lighter, more driven. And she'll give me notes from guides that she says come and visit her. And like the last one she gave me, it says, does your body retract when I tell you you are powerful? And it's like, what part of you contracts, makes you feel uncomfortable when I tell you that there's power within you? And I read it and I'm like, whoa. And I was going through this point where I'm like, this is what I want to do with myself. This is where I want to go. I started laying out the groundwork as to what did I want my life to look like.
Yeah, that's cool.
What did I want my partner to look like? What did I want my relationship with that partner to look like?
Manifesting, right?
Oh, mate. So another thing that I've been delving into really deeply lately, and anyone that wants to ask more, you can get in touch with me and I can point you in the direction, because the girl I'm seeing at the moment, she's really into this avenue which is called human design, the human design chart,
Cool.
which talks about your astrology and personality traits you may know about yourself, but like when you read it, you're like, holy shit, this makes sense.
Learning more about it, yeah.
Yeah, man. And obviously, again, coming from a Christian family, my parents would be like, you're a lunatic. This is against our belief. But it's like, when I read it, a lot of it marries up with my faith.
Yep.
So Nicole gave me, after my first rebirthing with her, she asked me what my birth date was. And I found out you said manifesting. So there's different types, but I'm a manifest generator. So I'm the combination of two human types.
Yep.
Into one. So you've got your reflectors, you've got projectors, your manifestors, and your generators.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they're the 4 types. I am a pure manifesting generator, which means that when I manifest something, if I have personal conviction with it, I can will it into existence.
That's
from
awesome.
what I can gather.
That makes a lot of sense.
And you read it on a deeper level, and it talks about like whether you got single definition or what channels you've got, and I don't want to go into it because it's a deep
one to go.
It's a deep one, but I found once I learnt about that, it gave me more tools on top of what I've already developed in the last year.
Yep.
To when I'm going through adversity, be like, well, hold on a second, how does this look to me?
Yep.
Why is it looking like this, and what's happened for it to be here? And I start reflecting, and I go, okay, well, how can I change? And like again, this is why I went with beach yesterday. I was like, I need to get away from the distractions and actually sit there and manifest what do I want.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so, yeah, by coming and writing down exactly where I wanted to see and what I wanted my life to look like, things just started falling into place.
Yep.
And then after that, so this is going on this, like I'm 105 kilo, trying to lose weight. I'm losing little bits and pieces. I said to Jordan, where's this breakthrough? Had this breakthrough with Nicole and this breath work. And then Jordan goes, how's your diet? I said, oh, yeah, it's pretty good. Meanwhile, he's cooking up like 500 grams of like bone broth, bone marrow, roasted mince and steak the size
all
of
the
my
good
head.
shit. Yeah,
He's just got this Maryvale goat's cheese and avo. And I was like, oh, now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And he said, you should do the Corrective Culture gut cleanse. I went, oh, what's that? And they're like, oh, well, you just basically cut out certain vegetables, beans and stuff like that. But you replenish your body with all organic foods and basically you take supplements that flush your system. And trust me, it's not not an enjoyable experience for the first couple of days.
Pretty tough.
It's something that I think you should definitely look into if you've
100%, bro.
got health
Yeah,
issues.
I've seen some people get back to them about their stuff that they've posted, and like people getting like tapeworms and stuff. Like
it's hectic.
Yeah, dude, like a huge.
Yeah.
And you understand, like that thing was in me.
People don't realize as well, and I'm so grateful for the knowledge that like Jordan, Nicola, Sheridan Austin, her partner Sean.
She looks
Austin,
great, man.
Sheridan's
nutritionist
incredible.
wise.
And also what Jake and Callan from Corrective Culture have taught me is like the effect that these parasites and worms can have on your mental health. It's actually insane.
How much this is linked, right?
Well, yeah, like, well, think about it, like your stomach tells your brain when it's hungry, right? It's like, hey, dude, I'm hungry. We got to fill this body up so we can keep operating. So this cleanse, like, I flushed out all this bad energy and all this stuff,
inflammation and stuff,
everything that wasn't serving me on a higher, deeper level.
Yep.
And replenished with all this healthy food. And I dropped from 105. Over the course of 2 months, I only did the cleanse for 4 weeks. At this point, when I started the cleanse, I think I was 84, might have been 91, or like just in like the high 80s.
Okay.
But like it just stripped me of all this shit that I just didn't need anymore. And I remember like when I finished the cleanse, Joel goes, I'll get a photo for you before and after.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then
what
when
a
he took
difference.
the photo of the after, I was like, no, that's not me.
Yeah.
Like my head's too big. Why is my body so small? Like what's going on? I'm not used to these. I'm used to having a small head and a big body.
Yeah.
And, and then I decided to do the post and open up about it and be like, my mental health's been shit.
Was that tough for you to do?
Well, the first time I opened up about my mental health on a social platform was the morning after I tried to take my life, which was 3 days after my mum's birthday last year. I won't go into detail, but it was a wild time. But I remember when I was going through it, I'm not going to say what the method was, because it's a bit, how you doing? But I remember that divine power turned around and said to me, "You've got more to give. You've got something more to give." And like at that point, I was going through a spiritual awakening and trying to understand, just looking for hope. I think that's one thing people don't do enough in a dark space is they get attached to the depression rather than trying to seek hope.
Yep.
Whether it's just the smallest glimmer.
Just something. Get some momentum.
And I've been there. Like I attached myself to my depression. I couldn't see any hope. I couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
But then I started to, and I started to become more aware. Okay, well, how can I change these things? And so, I just lost my train of thought then. Forgot to have my alpha brain this morning. Go figure.
Alpha brain.
Yeah, it's another thing I've been taking for my like cognitive. I
think I've heard of it before.
Aubrey Marcus just does it. Like he created it.
Yep.
Works miraculously for my memory.
Yep.
But yeah, so the gut cleanse changed. Like when Joel showed me, I was like, whoa, like, that's wild. And then, that's where it was. We're talking about when I shared my story.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was after I tried to take my life the next morning. Like I remember sitting there, and surfing to me obviously has been a massive part of my life.
Yeah.
And I just was sitting there and I was like, I need to own this.
Yep.
I need to own my shit. Like Instagram's a highlight reel. I say it to everyone, Instagram's a highlight reel. And I'm guilty of showing a lot of the highlights of mine, but I do try to show the raw stuff when I need to. But the thing is nowadays is I am feeling good. Yeah. I am a different man.
You don't feel like you need to do those posts anymore?
Well, not as often.
Yeah.
I do it when I feel like it needs to be shared.
That one last night was perfect. That was good, bro. Like and some of my best, the thing that I shared still resonates with me, which kind of got me on this path, was that day that I went up to, is it Balloomba Falls?
Yeah, Balloomba Creek.
Balloomba Creek, bro. Went up there, recorded myself, and I had no intentions to it wasn't like, I'm going to go up and do all this. It was like, I need to say things. So I just had the camera in front of me, just talking shit. And that really resonated with a lot of people. And that was just me speaking my mind. So that's
crazy, hey?
And I was just in it. And I'm going back to your story with how you just went up there yesterday and just did your thing, went into nature by yourself. That day that I went up there, I just decided I've had enough of trying to do all this shit because I'm always trying to be busy. There's a difference between being busy and productive.
Correct.
Because I find myself sometimes I can just be like, yeah, man, I'm doing heaps. Everyone's like, oh, Trav, what are you up to these days? Oh, bro, doing this, and this. And it's like, I think sometimes I'm like, I've got imposter syndrome for sure. I find myself that, am I really doing what I'm saying I'm doing? I think I am. I think I work pretty hard and do the things I need to do. But because I'm trying to do all that shit all the time, went away, reset for that one day in nature. Fuck me. What a world of good it did for me, hey. Wow.
Perspective has changed just like that.
Yeah. So I resonate with what you're saying, big time, man. So
I just decided that the morning after I had that dark moment, I was like, I need to share this and own it. So I did a post saying like how for me going through my issues, that the ocean was like a cleanse for me, to a sense that when I duck dive a wave, that it would wash me clean of whatever that stress was.
Nice.
And that, I got an overwhelming response from that.
I was going to say you had a few people reach out privately and stuff.
Overwhelming.
That's cool.
Very overwhelming. And I don't post those sort of things, freely.
No.
It takes a lot of courage for me to...
You still find it hard to share with that sort of stuff?
Last night when I was doing that caption, I had to reread it over and over and go, is this actually what I want to put out there? Because you put yourself open to be vulnerable for people to ridicule you.
And be judged,
And the thing is, it came to the point where, when I did that first post, I didn't even think. I was like, I need to share this. And so many people reached out. And then I did the post for my cleanse transformation. Heaps of people reached out. I did the podcast with Authentic Spoon talking about my nutrition and health journey, and heaps of people reached out. And I slowly started to realise, I was like, maybe I was put here to share this. Just because, to me, if I can help one person get out of feeling how I felt a year ago or 2 years ago, that's all I feel like I've achieved everything that I want to by sharing my story.
Serving others.
Yeah, being of service. And like I said at the start, if you don't resonate with it, that's all good, man. There will be a time where you'll hear something from someone else and it'll resonate with you, and you go, whoa.
And it only takes a couple of people sometimes. You don't have to have hundreds of people oh yeah, that was awesome. It's like you said, one person that's and that's I'll go to this story because this is actually, for me, if I'm trying to think of the catalyst as to what set me down this path, I've always sort of casually heard it in conversation because I work at Rebel, have done for the last 5 years of my life, or 6 years, whatever it is. And helping people on that level obviously is a different sort of thing, but I still get to talk about, because they ask, oh, what do you do? Like the mums might be with their kids or something, or their dad be like, oh, what do you do? And I've always chatted about that sort of stuff. And one night we were out for a work dinner, and the lady that worked there was like, all right, you're a football player? I'm like, yeah, I used to be. And
In my heyday,
yeah. Is it because I'm big? No. And she's like, yeah, my son plays and he's really struggling. And I was like, yeah, I used to play, but gave up because of my anxiety and stuff. I'm really open with that shit. Like, cool. I probably overshare sometimes, but
no, man, that's not oversharing. That's beautiful.
Well, this is where the help came. So she goes, oh, my son, he's like, I think he was 13 at the time, 14. He struggles with anxiety. He's thinking about quitting football. I was like, shit, I don't want another kid to quit because of what I went through. I need to stop that. So I was like, bring him into work. I'll have a chat to him. Did not expect her to bring him in. Next day, comes in. This little redhead, solid boy.
Like,
I wasn't ready. I was like, oh, shit, I got to drop some advice here. But, dude, smartest kid. He was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was 13 at the time because this is a couple of years ago. And Debbie is the mum who I'm mates with still, and Zach, her son. Met little Zachy for 30 minutes straight, bro. This kid just, I wasn't at work, I swear, but looked me in the eyes and just listened to every single word I had to say. Just little tips and tricks that helped me through it. What is anxiety? How you can look at being nervous and being excited is the same thing. You just have to have a mental shift. Little things like that. I was like, oh, that went pretty well. 2 days later, bro, she called me at work crying, saying how he doesn't have anxiety anymore. He's super excited about football.
Whoa.
Now, without going into too much, 2 years later, bro, this kid is in the local rep team. He's getting looked at for the Falcons.
Getting shivers here.
Dude, he's killing it. He's training his ass off because he loves football.
Yeah.
He doesn't associate those feelings of I'm terrified, I'm anxious, whatever, with it anymore. So now he can enjoy it. And he trains with What Ups, who does Red Zone. He does all this amazing preseason training stuff with the boys. And he's just become this absolute beast because he's a big boy. He's got the talent. He wants to be an NRL player. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. So I'm not saying that I've been the catalyst for why he's killing it now. He's done it all himself.
Yeah.
I just had to give him that little push or knowledge on how to do it. And when I saw that, I was like, holy shit, I want to do this. Yeah. This needs to be what I do for a living. Now, if it's on a level of being a personal trainer or just talking to people through this, I'd love to get paid to do this. I don't know if that's a possibility, but if I just get people on like yourself who can help, like we said, if someone hears it, even if I get footy players in, because obviously my demographic is trying to help younger football players, so that 15 to 25 or even anyone, it doesn't matter. If you can help in some way, like I said, it was a 30-minute chat with this kid and it's changed his life.
Crazy, hey?
Those things have happened for me, little run-ins and stuff with people that I'm meant to meet, like Potsy and that. Meeting you or chatting to you last year, that you reaching out, that happened for a reason.
Didn't it just?
And
we kept in contact so much, hey? Like
we've helped each other, I think, a lot through, even if it's on a smaller scale, I think we've helped each other in times because we check in on each other.
We always check in.
It's cool, eh? Yeah. For someone that we didn't see super close or anything, but I feel like we had this different sort of bond because we resonated so heavily with each other and we understood each other's pain a little bit. But then off the back of that, bro, like even meeting Jolie at, I think it was at Blair and Tessa's wedding.
Yeah.
Or their like little party they had, just chatting to Jolie that night was awesome. Just understanding him more and then meeting more people and just this circle kept growing and growing. And that's led me to this point now where having conversations like yourself, bro, this is perfect. Yeah. Because it gives us a platform to meet people like you, maybe Potsy one day, get him on here.
He'd love it.
Whoever it might be. And we could chat. Dude, I'm happy to go if as long as you're not in any rush. I feel like we've still got some stuff to unpack.
Yeah, bro. We've got a fair bit. Thank you for sharing that story before about, that
little Zachy.
Yeah, man. They gave me the warm and fuzzies. And I think, one thing that I've learned over the last year is it's important to encourage as many people as you can.
Yeah. No matter who it is, sort of thing, eh?
Yeah, just lifting people up. How often do you're quick to talk down about someone or something.
Or judge someone.
Judge what they're doing.
You see them walking by, what they're wearing, you're like, oh, look at that drop kick.
And in those motivational videos that you and I both watch, it's like, I can't remember who said it. trying to remember. Anyway, I remember someone saying, like, if you're not making someone else's life better, you're wasting your time.
Will Smith.
Was it Will Smith?
Yeah. Don't know if he originally said that, but I still remember him saying, yeah, if you're not trying to improve someone else's life, you're wasting your time. Yeah.
And it's so true. And like, so that's something that I try to take with me every single day. And like, I'm so fortunate now, like I look back and, you know, with mental health is like, look at your environment. Look at, like I said earlier, like look at what's not serving you. Look at your environment. Okay, how's my environment not serving me? Because first and foremost, you can change your environment before you can change anything else.
Let's unpack on that a little bit. Yeah. So, because I'd love to, this is probably where we can start getting into little tips, tools, and resources on how to help people. So, when you say change your environment, I hear what sort of room you're in. Is your room tidy? Is your car tidy? Is your house tidy? And, you know, all that sort of stuff. Because obviously when you're in depression, that sort of stuff is the first thing to go. It gets messy. You can't be cleaning up. Like,
my mum would always say to me, messy house, messy mind.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, whoa. You know, I never clean your room. No, I can't be fucked.
Yeah.
But, you know, that video that we connected on last year, one of the first things that's said in that is, you know, give yourself goals, little daily goals. Not going out there hoping to change the world in a day, but like for
just
me,
momentum.
Correct. It's a sense of accomplishment. So for me, it started off with making my bed, something that I never did because I lived with my parents for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
But I made the conscious decision. No, I'm gonna start making my bed every day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be exactly when I wake up. I get up at 4 o'clock most weekdays to go to gym.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna make my bed at 4 o'clock. I'm getting up, taking a shit, having a shower, getting ready for gym.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. But I'll come back from gym and I'll make my bed.
Yeah. You can't leave the house and start your day
until my bed is made.
Correct. I'm the same.
And like that played a massive role in me. And so like when I moved out of my parents' place, I didn't move out of my parents' place, last year. I got kicked out of my parents' place. I had a fight with my dad, which we've obviously forgiven each other about and made up. But he was just voicing opinions on social media that I didn't agree with.
Okay.
And I just said to him, I think maybe you've got to do it from a point that's not so biased. You know, if you really feel at this point, you put it out to ask why people disagree or why.
Yeah, you know, I understand what you're saying.
Being open to other opinions. My dad wasn't really like that. So he said, get the fuck out. How dare you speak to me with such disrespect, blah, blah, blah. And I went, sweet, I don't want to come back anyway.
Yeah.
And I was homeless. Like, I lived out of my car.
Yeah, right.
Real estate agent living out of his car. Go figure.
Hustle life, eh?
But man, it was a beautiful experience for me.
Yeah, you felt like that had to happen, eh?
Yeah, I'd go park down at Cotton Tree by the river. I'd lay a rug down. I'd be reading a book, which is another tool that I highly recommend for anyone dealing with, you know, self-worth or like challenging, like they just feel like they need to remove themselves from grief or whatever shame they may be feeling, is a book by Brene Brown called Daring Greatly.
I've heard of it, haven't read it yet, but I've heard it's amazing.
I can't remember. I've lent mine.
Oh, you told me about it. That's right.
Yeah, I probably did.
Yeah.
I lent my copy to someone. I got a copy lent to me by a friend of mine who is a psychologist. And I told her what I was going through and how much shame I had around my previous relationship and how I treated my partner and what I'd done in my life. And I read this book, and then that's when I actually started being more open about what I was going through, because I realised like there is no shame. There's no shame in being honest. There's no shame in owning my problems. But yeah, that book changed a lot for me. Man, I can't believe I just lost my train of thought again.
Isn't it crazy though? Well, you're saying how you're homeless and you're reading this book and it's helping you, but it's crazy to think that one tool, a book, helped you so much as well.
I'm not a massive reader either.
Neither. I'm
like,
useless.
You know, in high school, how they're like, all right, we're reading through this book. Like, I'd literally turn around to the person and say, what was the book about? What are we doing? Like, I didn't like reading.
Yeah.
The only books I've read is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Mason, I think his name is. I can't remember. He's also got the one, Everything's Fucked, his next one.
Yep.
So I read that. And then the next book I read after that was Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, which I had to end up giving the copy back to my friend because I had it for like 6 months. So I had to go buy my own copy.
Yep.
Beautiful book. She studies shame. Like, she's a scientist that studied shame and the effects that it has on the body. And she also shares a lot of her personal stuff, which is like, once you can relate to someone on a personal level, I think it helps you understand what you're going through a lot more.
Yeah.
You can go see a professional. Like when I saw a psychologist, I went and saw him every week for 2 months. And it was good. Like, I got a lot of benefit out of it, but it wasn't until like I actually read this book and got to hear her experiences. I was like, whoa.
That's when it really changed for you.
I'm not alone in this, yeah. And so there'd be times I'd be homeless sitting down at Cotton Tree cooking out of the back of my car, and I'd just have nice music playing, and I'd just turn around and be like, God's got me. God's got me. I've got this. Like, something's going to happen. Something's going to come up. And then a friend of mine, well, my now roommate, Mitch, would message me whenever I'd share something about my journey, and he'd say, like, how have you got through this part? Or like, what have you faced when you've gone to here? And I'd say to him, like, let's catch up. Anyway, I got tattooed by his brother, a big thing on my leg that's basically just taken from the Amity Affliction song Shine On, where it's like, I wanted to get the script, it's now sink or swim, but I'm too strong to drown. But I ended up shortening it because I was going to get too big and just too strong to drown. Anyway, the whole family came over for dinner that night because we grew up together. And then I remember the next day, like, again, call it divine power, call it God, whatever you want. Something said to me, like, he's about to enter into your life in a massive way again. And like, him and I were best friends, like really good friends in primary school.
Yeah, but you started doing your own thing.
Yeah, well, we changed schools, and
Yep.
he moved down to Melbourne and went on the ski slopes, and I was doing my thing with surfing, and we didn't really keep in touch. He was in a band, and I used to follow him. But yeah, something told me, and I remember saying to my dad, I was like, Dad, God's telling me that he's about to come into my life in a big way. So I don't know how, but he is. A week later, I find out that he's also like me, couch surfing, homeless.
Yeah, right.
Something urged me. I was like, let's move in together.
Yeah, cool.
And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, let's move in together. Like, come on, man. We're best friends in primary school. Like,
We can rekindle.
we can rekindle this. Let's go. It was 3 days after I made that put that question to him that a property came up, which is exactly what I envisioned my first place to like move into myself. Like, I've lived with friends. Like, I've moved in with friends before, but like to actually go out house hunting.
Yep.
And he wasn't even, like, he said to me, oh, I was thinking about going out west or moving back down south. I was like, well, look, let's just go have a look at this one place. If you still feel like you want to go out west, man, sweet, I'll do the rent myself.
Yeah.
And we ended up moving in together.
Are you still together now?
Yeah, we're still there now.
Whereabouts is it?
Maroochydore.
Nice.
And it's just a little 3-bedroom asbestos shack.
Yeah.
We've turned we don't call it a garage, we call it the garage.
Hey.
The garage is like our little dojo, so I've got all like jiu-jitsu mats on the floor, all my deep tissue stuff. We've got a 360-litre ice bath that we've got in there.
So that's, I thought
Come
that
over,
was yours. Yeah,
have
for
a nice
sure,
bath.
bro. Yeah. Will I fit in it all right?
Yeah, you'll fit.
Yeah, sick.
And then we turned the middle room into a music room. So music has been another massive tool
I was going to
for me.
say, you've always been a bit of a musician, eh?
Well, no. So I've loved music. I've always connected deeply with music. Music to me is something that if I ever post something on my Instagram, like a story, listen to the lyrics because it's usually something that I'm going through.
I'm the same, bro.
I'm going through something. Like I shared a song when I was going through my moment the other day before I went up Double On called Amber by Stick to Your Guns, which are a heavy metal band, but they did a raw acoustic version of this song. And you listen to the lyrics and it's like, it hits you. And then I find out through Mitch that it was about a fan of theirs who committed suicide. A young girl that just, could not get out of her depression. And then when he told me this after I'd posted it, but something in my heart and my soul was like, whoa, this is resonating with me deep. So I shared it. But so last year I just decided to pick up the guitar and teach myself from scratch how to play.
That's cool.
And then I just got addicted to it and addicted to the emotional release that I got out of playing music that resonated with what I was going through. So a lot of the songs I play can be quite depressing. A lot of City in Colour, Death Cab for Cutie, bit of Blink-182.
Nice.
They're like an all-time favourite band of mine, but like when I'm playing guitar, I like to slow it down a bit.
Yep.
But music was a massive thing for me. And then when Mitch and I moved in together, we've turned our middle bedroom into a music room. I think we've got like 12 guitars in there now.
So Mitch is a bit of a musician himself?
He's incredible.
Yeah, right.
He's an incredible musician.
That's cool.
He doesn't give himself enough credit. He's really good.
Yeah, I figured being a mate of yours, he's probably a super humble dude. Like,
He's one of the most humble guys you'll meet.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's been good. Like, I think another thing for anyone like that are going through a dark phase, like I found for myself personally, reaching out to people like yourself or with Mitch or other people that I felt I had a connection to on an empathetic level so that I could be open and feel like I'm being seen on that
Yeah,
level.
not being judged or anything.
Yeah, and I've got, don't get me wrong, I love all my friends and I'm so grateful for the big group of friends I have.
Yeah.
But it's different when you have to show that side of you. Like a lot of my friends like to call me the hype man. I'm the hype man of the group.
Yeah,
like, I'm the one that organises all the events, or I'll organise, you know, get-togethers, and everyone always says I come in, I'm a big ball of energy, but like for a lot of the time that was just a mask.
Do you find it exhausting a little bit? Like if you go out to a public event or something, or hanging out with the boys for a party or whatever it might be, you come home and you're like, oh fuck, thank God it's over. Like you enjoy it, but it takes a lot for you to.
And the next day I go full hermit.
Yeah.
So to go on that, like human design chart I was saying before, that I'm a manifest generator. So my profile is I'm the hermit role model.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll do yours.
That sounds good.
Like pick yours apart with Alicia one night. But
yeah.
I'm the hermit role model. So, and then my channel is the prodigal. So basically, like I am meant to go out and experience as much as I can through life. Meanwhile, I've learned all this after I've come out the other end of what I've experienced. Mate.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm so intrigued by it.
Yep.
My channel's the prodigal. My profile's the hermit role model, which basically means like I love solitude.
Yep.
I love time by myself.
Same.
I love self-reflection.
Yep.
But I also love talking to people and helping people if I can, and expressing through personal journey. And then the fact that I've got the prodigal channel just basically says that like I am made to, like my being is meant to go out and experience like the first 20, 30 years is meant to be just all the learning. The next 20, 30 years is meant to be the applying.
Yeah.
And the next 30 to the end of my life will be me sharing.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. So like learning all this, having come out of what I've been through, my mind just exploded.
Because how old are you this year?
28.
Yeah, so literally I reckon by the time you hit 30, you'll have all this wealth of knowledge.
Oh, man.
And like you said, you'll start applying it. Do you think you'll stay in real estate?
No.
Because this is
I'm so open about this. No.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
No. And like...
Jay's well aware.
Yeah, I don't think he's very happy about it.
Yeah, because he's obviously, man, you're fucking good. Like, I want you on. Like,
and the thing is, I know that I'm good at my job.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I say that not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of confidence, because I listen. I listen to what people want.
Yep.
And I'm not going to be the pushy person going, you need to buy this or you need to sell your property. No, like if someone wants to engage with me with real estate, I'm going to give them my absolute best.
Yep.
And I'm going to do my absolute best to get them the most. But my conviction is I need to work in humanitarian work.
Nice.
So I'm in the process at the moment of starting a charity event. I don't want to go into too much detail about it because with life, you just don't know whether it can come apart or come together.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, you don't want to put it out there in public.
But I'm manifesting it like a motherfucker.
That's cool.
And the thing is, like, everything is falling into place. It's just, it's stressful, man.
You're doing it by yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it on my own. I'm just very grateful and fortunate that with my network, I've got a few people that I can lean on for advice. But for the most part, it's just me.
Yep.
And it's costing me a lot of money. But people always go to me, how are you going to make money? How are you going to make money? Like, you're spending all this money on getting this event off the ground to make maybe just double of what you're spending for the charity. Like, how are you then meant to make money? I was like, it's not about the money.
Of course, yeah.
You know, if I can pull this event off in one night, I can help save nearly 1,000 people's lives.
Holy.
Well, not myself.
No, yeah.
The community
saying,
and everyone involved in the event, and anyone that wants to take part in that event can help change the lives of 1,000 people in one night just from having a good time.
Man, and that's on the sunny coast here?
Yeah, it'll be here in Maroochydore.
Yep.
And it's not going to be your stereotypical charity event where you go and listen to someone talk about their heyday for 3 hours. You're like, fuck me, where's the beer?
Get on with it, man.
Like this, I want to create a space, an environment for people to come and feel love.
Yeah.
And feel warmth and feel connected with everyone in the community that's involved, but not only that, to those that their money's going to go and help. So that's where my heart and my passion is.
That's cool.
So to answer your question, no, real estate to me is a learning curve. I've realized that I'm not ready to walk away from it yet. I feel like there's still stuff I need to learn from the industry because it is a very cutthroat industry. But it's been challenging on my mental health for sure.
I could imagine because sales is a very stressful career to be in, but it can be, you know,
rewarding
for sure. Like, because if you talk about real estate, if you look at it on a deeper level, you're actually helping people with one of the biggest decisions of their lives,
mate. And you feel it.
Yeah.
Well, I personally,
I'm sure you do. Yeah, being an empath like myself, like you feel. I think that's why I've done so well in Rebel is like, even though I'm selling them shoes and stuff, you know, just basic shit, I get to the story as to why they're buying the shoes. Because
what are they using it for? Have they had issues with their feet and runners previously?
Yeah. Or they're trying to get fit again because their wife left them, or their husband, or whatever it might be. Usually it comes
you really
from,
go deep. That's awesome, man.
Most of it comes from a place of pain. When you talk about fitness and stuff, and people trying to get better, people trying to lose weight, it usually is attached to some sort of emotional thing. The revenge body.
Yeah,
you know, it's like so. As much as I would love to still help people with that sort of aspect when they do come to me for training when I'm fully qualified, my biggest thing is just like, we need to find your happiness. Now that's going to be hidden within whether it's your career, your relationships, your general health, you know, and well-being. Like whether it's like, are you happy in day-to-day life? Do we need to find your purpose in life? Is it just training? Because training is a great block or base for anything. I'm sure you've felt that, because if we're talking about tools and tips, I think the first one you need to go train. Get to the gym, go for a walk, fucking as basic as it needs to be.
Oh man, it can be the yang of going out and doing all the physical exercise, or it can be the yin exercise of going and doing the inner work and being like, whoa, okay, well I need to reassess, like I did with DI, reassessing. So I call that exercise, because meditation to me is exercise.
For sure.
Breath work to me is exercise. Ice bath to me is exercise, because I'm exercising my mental state and physical state in different scenarios. And so, I think, I agree. It needs to start with that. But you know what you said before, how it like comes from a place of pain? I resonate with that a lot. And I think a lot of people probably will agree with me. It's something we learn at Exalta. It's like, is it coming from a place of pain or a place of pleasure? Because if your driving force is pain, it's only going to get you to a certain point.
Once you've achieved it, cool.
You achieve it and then you're just like,
what now?
Fuck.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, literally, what now?
Yeah.
And it's like you said, like when people go when their wives leave them, or they break up. Like I was in that place of pain when I couldn't get back with my ex last year. I grinded myself because I was trying to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
From a place of pain from losing her. And then it wasn't until Jordan said, is it coming from pleasure or pain, that I started to change my perspective of it. I was like, well, I need to be more aware of where my energy is being invested and why. Is it coming from a place of pain? Is it coming from a place of pleasure? Is it coming from a place of love? Is it coming from a place of fear?
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, man. And this is the thing, like, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. That is science.
Yes.
So with every aspect that I'm learning with myself is when I'm feeling a way, it's okay, how can I shift this energy to benefit me? So, yeah, it's interesting that you said that, pleasure or pain, because you're right. Majority of people... Well, hold on. I don't want to say that.
Yeah, like we can't...
I know for myself, majority of the time,
Yep.
it came from a place of pain.
Yep.
But now I've found pure pleasure in every aspect.
In every aspect of exercise,
mate, it's phenomenal.
And that's the cool
thing. I barely
thing.
even surf anymore.
Yeah.
I surf when my body tells me to, and when I'm doing it for pleasure.
That's cool.
I used to go out and surf because I was like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to do this. And it was hurting me.
Yeah.
I'm not the best, so I'm going to go out there and give my everything to become the best. Yeah, go grind. But it also needs to come to a point where it's pleasurable and be like, yeah, sick, I'm doing this and this is fun and I'm going to grow from it. And
100%. And I think if you really look into that aspect then, because that's awesome, never looked at it that way, but you need to build, if I'm going to be training people, it's also going to be building habits, because you can't rely on motivation. Discipline and habits is where it's at. So I'm now at the point where I just train 3-4 times a week because I want to.
Yeah.
It's my habit. It's my life now. So again, I do have a reason why I train. Like, I love to be strong, fit, and powerful.
Yeah.
I don't care how I look so much. Like, obviously I want to look fit and strong, because if I'm going to be a coach, no one wants to be usually trained by a fat mess. But there are some great coaches that are obviously a bit like out of shape or whatever they might be, because they've got a wealth of knowledge over years of training people. It doesn't have anything to do with like what they can do for you. You can't look at someone, like we were saying before, with judgment and just look at them and be like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. When really they could be the greatest coach on earth.
Yeah, mate.
So, but for me, I always loved, I want to be athletic at all times. I want to be able to play basketball. I want to be strong, fit, and powerful, because weirdly enough, because of my thoughts into like my mortality and dying and that sort of shit, because I'm a big time gamer and I watch a lot of movies, I always want to be strong enough to be able to protect the ones I love in myself.
Yeah. So
now, that might sound weird, but
no, not at all.
I know I'm big, right? I'm 6'4", 6'5", whatever it is, 130 kilos. So I'm big enough. But I just think that if I'm always like I'm boxing and I'm strong and I'm fit, whatever it might be, I can protect because if I need to save someone from like I don't know, if Tams is getting kidnapped or some shit, no, you're not. I'm about to rip your heads off. Like it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you think about it, these situations can arise.
So it's not ridiculous at all. And I think, have you ever heard, like, have you delved much into archetypes?
A little bit. I don't understand it a huge amount, but feel free to enlighten me.
I'm still learning as well. But like from what you're saying, like to me, it doesn't sound ridiculous because to me, it just shows me that you're embodying your warrior archetype and your king archetype.
I got you. Yeah,
Like you want to be that warrior that can provide, be strong and masculine, but then you want to be that king archetype that can provide and be, you know, a pillar. So I think no, it doesn't sound nonsense to me. But again, it comes back to being open to it and learning about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when people say, "Oh, you're being the victim," yeah, they literally are. They're in their victim archetype.
Yep.
You know, and there's so many different archetypes that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. You've got like the magician, the king, like we as men can still step into our queen archetypes. You know, you've got your warrior archetype. You've got so many.
I love that sort of stuff because it makes you understand. I said to Tam the other day, I learnt something from Charles Poliquin, who's one of the most amazing coaches ever. My mate Nev Heath got me onto him, and you know, all this real movement and stuff is actually based off what Charles did.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Poliquin something.
Strength Sensei, it's like the Poliquin method.
Poliquin curls we do at gym, yeah.
Yeah, so Charles Poliquin was ahead of the curve, man. He was doing stuff in the 1980s that they're doing fucking last 10 years. Everything to do with the type of training, the way you eat, you know, reducing carbs, all this stuff. He was practicing it, not relying on the scientific evidence. Obviously, he loves the science-based stuff, but he was like, let's try it. If it works, then we know it works. Cool. So he talks about certain types of people benefit more off certain types of training depending on what chemical they are most reliant on, whether it's serotonin-based, dopamine-based. I can't remember what mine was.
There's melatonin, serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, and...
Acid. It was this...
What was the fourth one? Oxytocin.
Oxytocin, yes. There's something else that I got. I can't remember what it is, but I'll bring it up and talk about it. But essentially, my type of training should be supersets. So usually do a 5x5, so 5 sets of 5 reps of fairly heavy weight, but then finish off one set with, like I say, a 25 reps on a lighter weight. So for my body and the way that my body reacts to that type of training, I'll get the most benefits from that.
Yeah.
Literally from doing a 15-minute fucking questionnaire and answering very truthfully things like, do people perceive me as such and such? And I have to say, yes. And I answer all these questions, and at the end, it'll tell me if I'm GABA deficient. So I have to take certain supplements to try increase my...
Is it bad that I thought about that GABA dance? As soon as you said that, I was like, oh my God.
So it's all based off, you know, I think it's called the Brenner test. I'll have to look into it.
I've heard of it.
I'll have to look into that and talk more about that. But I've literally, from learning that, it has opened, and this is only on Saturday or Sunday or something. I was just learning, and for the last this whole week, I've changed my eating, changed my training. Bro, I've lost 3 kilos in like 4 days.
Your skin looks good too.
I feel healthier. I've gotten a little bit of sun because I understand vitamin D is important. Yeah. So all these little things, bro, they build up, and I'm not doing anything special. I'm just training. I train for 40 minutes or so because I superset most things, so it's pretty quick. But this is all part of that exercising that we talk about. You know, I'm meditating again. I forgot about it.
So important. No matter what meditation, no matter what your belief is, like, I think it is so important.
Yeah, hugely. How do you normally do yours? Like, because everyone's got their different types of meditation, right?
I was going to say, it depends on what I'm after. Okay, so for example, at Double Island, I smoked a joint and I climbed a sand dune.
Nice.
To the very top, so to the point where I was on the apex of the peak. And I sat there and I was stoned. And I closed my eyes and I breathed. I let the sun just drench me back on my back. And I just sat there listening to everything around me. I didn't have any intention other than to just sit in complete stillness. And then when I opened my eyes and saw the clear blue water, the white sand, the beautiful pandanus tree, I was like, whoa, how good is this?
And this is sunset?
No, this was like middle of the day.
Oh, so you went up during the day.
Yeah, I went up in the middle of the day. Like I felt like my soul was just like climb that thing. Like I pulled up at this pulled up just randomly on the beach where I don't usually park. And there was no surf. And then I was like, I'll roll a doobie. So I sat down, smoked it, had a chat with this French bloke that was just, him and I had a chat on the drive up because he was driving next to me. It was really funny.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was all random. I was like, I'm going to chat to this guy for some reason at some point. And then he pulled up next to me and we started chatting. Man, I have some like really cool moments, like when I'm really in tune with my, like,
I know
my
what you
inner
mean.
self.
Yeah.
And then, him and I stopped chatting and I was like, what do I do? The surf's terrible. And then I turned to my left and looked and there was a perfect track right where I'd parked up this cliff to like, it's really cool, like rocky headland. I'm like, I'm climbing that. So I climbed up there and I just, sat in nature. But then there's other times where like I'll sit there cross-legged and I'll do a breath reset, which is like you take a deep breath in all the way up as much as you can. You let a tiger breath out. So it's like, and you put your tongue out and just let all the air out. And then you do 30 or 40 breaths, so like in through the nose, out, and connecting with your diaphragm. And at the end of that, the breath, you take a full deep breath in, and you squeeze. And when I say you squeeze, and you feel the energy like pull up your spinal cord to the back of your head, and then you release. And like, there's been times where I've fully passed out, like from it. It's like, whoa, I have like full moments. Yeah. But that's another one of my forms that I do for meditation.
Yep.
And then after I do that, I'll just sit there. Or like what I do really love doing at the moment, like if I'm finding adversity in finding love in a situation, I'm feeling despair or a lower frequency emotion, I'll go find Ram Dass and I'll put on his I Am Loving Awareness 10-minute song that East Forest did the music to, and Ram Dass is saying over top, he's like, there's a mantra that I use, it's I am loving awareness. And he just basically says that.
Over and over?
Over and over, I am.
And you just embody
awareness.
that, right? You take it in.
I take my breath in while he's saying it. I am loving awareness. And like I'll sit there, even if I'm laying on the floor or I'm sitting up, and I'll embody that. Like, I am loving awareness. I can go out into life and I can love everyone that I meet.
Man.
No matter what position they hold me in. I had something happen in our family, which I won't go into detail with, but I was so angry and frustrated with someone, and Alicia turned to me and she goes, can you hold them in love? And as soon as she said that, I was like, boom, whoa, can I? Can I? I preach that I'm loving awareness. Can I hold this person in love given what's happened? Yeah, I could. I still don't love the situation.
Yeah.
But I love that person.
You love that person.
I love that person.
Yeah.
And they know that I love them. Like I even reached out and said, I love you. I don't agree with what's happened, but I love you so much. And I think we live in a world where people are so quick to not forgive. Yeah, you can forgive it, but you don't need to forget it. You can forgive.
Forgive, yeah. You don't need that shit hanging around.
No, and I know for myself personally, holding grudges has never proven beneficial to my health. No. It's just made it worse. And then when you see that person, you're like, oh, you get the irks. You're like, oh, why is that energy near me? Like, you don't need that energy. And like, so when Alicia said to me, can you hold them in love? And then I made that perception change to hold the situation in love. I was then able to show up 100% to everyone involved. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't directly affecting me. It was affecting my emotional state.
You thinking about it, and what's going on, yeah.
But when I changed my perception of it and held it in love, I was then able to go and sit with those that were in that frustration and turn up 100%.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I think that's another big tool is Ram Dass and meditating. Like meditating can take shape in different forms. Like you said, gaming for you can be meditating.
Gaming is hugely meditative for me. So if I come, and I used to do it to the point where I was like, there's a certain point where it's healthy and it's not healthy. So
I've been to the unhealthy stage as well.
Yeah, right. I used to
playing NBA 2K12 and was like, I need to go to bed,
but I don't want to. Like 100%. I've been in that space where I'll hide in my fucking room and I'll just game all day because it's me escaping reality. It's me running away. But now I use it as a tool. If I need to relax, shut down for the day, at night, whether it's at night, say like Tams goes to sleep, I've got a couple of hours, cool, chuck the headphones on, I'm on playing zombies or some shit, I'm building bases, I'm strategic. It's like, it's all these different mindsets, and they've scientifically proven that it can improve a lot of different cognitive basis,
big time.
So, but not going too much into that, you talk about meditation and stuff and breath work. How the fuck do we convince people who are going to look at that as it's weird that is going to help them so much? So when I'm helping men that are, say, the generation of my dad, so 60 years old, I'm not going to be able to convince him if I speak it about a certain way, maybe, but how do we bring it into like make it more aware to the general
great question
society, man? Because I feel like it's a super important tool. If we're talking about the best tools for helping people going through the shit we've gone through and still going through, it's breath work, it's meditation, it's training, it's listening to people like Ed Milet's and Tom Bilyeu has Impact Theory. So for me, that helped me the most was daily podcasts, just hearing those words constantly, the subconscious, the affirmations. So how do we then convince people who might not be open to it to get into that sort of stuff? Because that's a tough answer for that one too. Because
I guess with breath work, well, first and foremost, it's that there's that old saying: you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink.
Of course, yeah.
Everyone's going to come across this point in their journey at their own time. And I even myself have had so many reservations with things that I now am delving into. I believe in order for us to help get people into that state of being more open and wanting to explore it is you got to lead by example.
Yeah.
Rather than forcing it down their throats.
Yeah.
You lead by example, and you, as long as you fully embody what you're preaching, people will see it and they'll be like, what have you got that I don't have?
Yeah. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I have people ask me, like, what do you do? And I say, it's breath work, it's ice bath, it's training, it's surrounding myself with people that build me up. But like talking about breath work and like the importance of that is when people ask me, why do you do breath work and why is it so important to you? I say to them, what's the first and last thing you do in life?
Hey.
You take a breath.
Yeah.
You take a breath when you enter this world, and you'll take a breath when you leave this world. So, fuck, that means something, doesn't it? And like, it's a thing that you don't realize what we do continuously. Our body just keeps breathing. We don't, it's subconscious. But when you can actually consciously tap into that power of your breath is when you start to see expansion.
In every way.
Even talking about this right now gets me so excited.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've just signed up for the Wim Hof course. And
Oh, sick. Okay.
I'm going to do like a fundamentals course online.
Yep. Does that mean you can then coach it?
No.
Okay.
I wish. I want to do the academy, but it requires you to go to Poland for like a 5-day compulsory like workshop.
Yeah, and with COVID, obviously can't do shit right now.
How am I getting there? So
Yeah.
I'm just going to, and to be honest, I can't see myself being a Wim Hof instructor.
Yep.
But I want to have these tools.
Yeah,
so
of
that when
course.
people go, oh, can I come do it? Because I have people come to my house all the time, like my cousins, friends, and I'm so grateful that I've been able to share this with people, even though like I know like Potsy and the Corrective Culture Boys and everyone, like there's so many other people that are more knowledgeable on it. I feel very humbled and I feel the love when people say, hey, can I come and do an ice bath with you?
You're part of it now, bro. You're part of that journey. Because
Yeah.
you've, like you said, okay, yeah, they might be more knowledgeable. They've probably been doing it for a longer time, as you would know. But this is this type of stuff because on a level, this kind of stuff's going to do the same thing. So me doing this might inspire someone hearing your story to do exactly what you're doing. So you're then impacting in a positive way.
Yeah,
So
and
it still works the same way.
It's crazy how like it's strange. Like when people go, "Oh, what do you mean you're into breathwork?" Like I remember I was at a mate's house having drinks one night. Well, they were having drinks, I wasn't drinking, and they was like, "Oh, we've got some MD. Do you want some MD?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm off everything." I was like, "If there's a joint, I'll have a puff of a joint." I said, "I'm not drinking. Like I'm good. Like I get high off my breath work for the most part." And they're like, "You're a fucking lunatic." Literally, they're like, "You're a lunatic."
Yeah.
And then they went up and did their thing, and I was like, "Well." I said, man, that's all right for you to feel that way. You haven't experienced what I've experienced.
Yeah, you're not sitting
fine.
there judging them. Yeah,
No,
that's
and
cool.
that's the thing. I was like, you guys go have fun with that. But, you know, there is a bit of people that think, oh, it's weird. I said, but like the guys, like I've had a couple of my brother's younger friends that I met in Byron when we went down for a retreat. And I'm sorry, but I will have to go in the next 15 minutes.
Yep.
Otherwise, work will be pissed. But like I remember when I was down in Byron and just sharing with these young blokes. One in particular, he's lost his dad and his mum, and it's just him and his sister left. And he's like I don't know how we got onto the topic, but I just started talking to him about my journey. And then he said, "Oh, what do I do?" And I said, "Well, look, I don't want to go into the detail because I'm not too great at explaining it." I said, "But type in Wim Hof, learn about his story, and just do it." Like if you really want to like be open to something new, just listen to his story.
Yep.
And then just do one round guided by him on YouTube of what he expects of you.
Yep.
Come back to me. Both of them since I've spoken to them have messaged me going, man, thank you so much for introducing me to it. And it's like, well, you were the one actively seeking something.
Yeah.
I appreciate you thanking me, but your soul and your psyche was searching for something.
Yep.
And the universe put me in front of you and you asked the right questions.
Exactly.
I said, now you've found something that can help you. And it's sick, man. Like, one of my cousins jumped in the ice bath, Connor. He's like, big rig.
Yeah,
like,
I know Connor.
and I was shocked. Like, he jumped in. He's like, man, when I first jumped in, I thought I was going to pass out. He said, but then I just got lost in it. It felt so good. And then, like, we went and had dinner at his place afterwards, and he was beaming. He's like, man, I feel incredible.
I can picture him too. He's just like a little kid, eh?
Yeah. And this is the thing. It's like, people write me off. They're like, you're crazy, ice baths. It's like, the change that the ice baths has had in my life is huge. The fact that I can now regulate stress through my breath and putting myself into an uncomfortable position has made life so much easier now. And to be honest, I laugh about it now to ever think that I was depressed.
Like, I know, dude. Wild. You think about it, eh?
It's and wild. And like, yeah, I still have moments where I feel like I'm back at square one.
Yeah.
But because I've actively found tools and gone out of my way to learn, I know that I'm good. Yeah. And then there will be times I'm like, God's got me.
Isn't that empowering, man? Like thinking that you never have to deal with that shit again. Like you said, you're going to go through those emotions. We all are. I still have my days sometimes. But knowing how to get through it now, just through practical tools from my psychologist that I've been given, like we said way back, was getting a little bit of momentum. So he gave me a low-hanging fruit list. So on my wall when I'm working and stuff, and if I get a bit worked up, go and do the laundry. That's low-hanging fruit. That's achieving something. It's getting momentum. It's getting a bit of a roll on for the day. So practical tools like that are so important. And yes, you got your breath work and all this other stuff, but if people can understand that it's a pretty simple process when you think about it, if you can just learn about it, do those things, and practice them, because it has to become a habit. I challenge anyone listening that's like thinking about this whole breathwork thing is it will take you 15 minutes. Oh yeah, literally. Mate, well, hold on. Blows your mind. If you want to watch his story and get a bit of an understanding about Wim himself, it'll take you a bit longer. But if you want to do a guided breathing exercise, a Wim Hof breathing technique, it'll take you 15 minutes. And it's just on YouTube, isn't it? You just type in Wim Hof breathing. Correct. And as long as you know like how to breathe correctly, and that sounds funny. Everyone's like, I've been breathing my whole life. It's like, no, if you actually learn how to connect your breath from your stomach to your lungs to your head and then do his technique, it literally, you can get a DMT release from it. Yeah, yeah. He's even proven it. You can get a DMT release from it. Yep. Long story short, Wim is 62 years old. He's got nearly 26 or maybe even more Guinness World Records with cold water immersion. They call him the Iceman? They call him the Iceman. He lost his wife to depression. She committed suicide. Yeah, I remember that story. And he walked down to a lake and just put himself in there. A frozen over lake, he just walked down and put himself in there, and he reckons that's when he realised that there's a power that not many people know about through cold water immersion and breath. And then he's since, like, scientists have had him in laboratories where they've injected him with the E. coli virus, and he's literally fought it off, breathed the virus out of his system. It's breathed. And so that's why I get a couple lot of shit about the whole COVID thing, because I'm like, you know what? I'm not buying into the whole thing. And I'm not going to go down that because obviously, like, it could upset a few people and trigger a few people. There's a lot of opinions, But, like, for myself personally, like, I'm more about prevention than a cure. Yeah, of course. So, like, for me, I want to make sure that I'm taking adequate steps to make sure my physical, mental, and spiritual health is at optimum level to battle something like that if it were to come into my life. Yep. And, you know, Wim Hof is a prime example of the fact that even just through your breath, you can change the whole physiology of your body. Yep. I don't know if I said that right. I think it sounds right. I don't know. But like, the more I learn about him, the more I'm like, shit, we have such a deeper power in ourselves that we are yet to tap into. And it's not just him. Like, he even says it's not just me. We all have this power within us. Yeah. You don't have to be special. No. That's what he says. It's like anyone can do this. Anyone can do it. Like, he climbed Everest Base Camp in board shorts. Yeah. And then he gets anyone that comes to him, he gets them to do that too, right? Yeah. and they'll do it.
They all do
There's
it.
no special beasts that have to go out and do it. And what really frustrates me, man, I got Tamara to sit on the other side here last night just to test this out, set everything up. And I sort of asked this question because she's a teacher. And I said, how can we, because as a kid, I feel like school has its place for sure. But for me personally, man, I feel like there needs to be one lesson in every school. It's like a life lesson or something where each time they can get in someone. So say you ask all the kids, what do you think you want to be, or who do you look up to, or whatever, and then get everyone to write down who should we get in next. And they get these different speakers in. Say if it's like someone like us, I don't know, get Potsy into a school. That'd be amazing. Talk about all this shit, because if there's kids that are 15, 16-year-olds that are learning about breath work and they're going through bullying, the stresses of study, whatever it might be, and they learn that if they just breathe and then they can feel better, fuck, dude, like, why the hell aren't we getting that in there? Are you kidding me?
I know. It frustrates me so
God,
much.
like, just the basics. Like, because the one thing, again, we won't get too much into it because, you don't want to upset anyone because everyone's got such different beliefs and
they're
stories.
entitled to that. And I don't hold anyone to their beliefs. Like,
No.
That's them. And I, if anything, we should be trying to understand why they believe
Exactly,
that,
yeah.
not judging them for that. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Hearing them out and just learning about all these different things that can help you, and especially through this period right now that's unprecedented, man. Like this COVID stuff, you've never seen anything like it, right? So, but just being open to the fact that why has no one in the bigger powers, whoever they are, they're talking about all these preventative measures like masks and stuff. Why haven't we been told how to be healthy in general? That's just like,
I'm getting
as again, we don't want it, because I don't want this to be like a political and whatever. But to me, just a general question, because I like to question shit.
Yeah, it's healthy.
Let's just add this to the preventative measures of, okay, cool, they got to wear masks, cool, sweet, whatever. But let's add in there, we need to get sunshine. We need to breathe properly. We need water.
In saying that, like, although it's taken them a long time, they are starting to say...
They're starting to do that?
They are starting to mention, like, your diet and exercise does contribute to preventing catching the virus. So it's about fucking time.
Exactly. This should have been the first thing talked about at the start.
Yeah, and, like, the sad thing is, like, I've lost friendships over this.
Yeah,
Like,
I've heard that, yeah.
Like, but for me, I look at it as like, this is actually an opportunity for us as a whole civilization, not just like the Sunshine Coast. I'm talking like globally for change.
Come together.
Like right now, we have an opportunity, given what's going on, to really connect with one another on a deeper level, to get a better understanding of why we all feel this way.
Yeah.
Because the greater powers that be believe, like up to what you want to believe, I believe that there's some greater power that's trying to divide a lot of people and cause a lot of
divide
division.
and conquer kind of thing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, fear is such an easy emotion to play off with people and to drive fear into people, because you either live in a state of abundance or you live in a state of scarcity. Majority of the time, you're going to live in a state of scarcity. That's what I learned from that Daring Greatly book. When you live in a view and perspective of abundance, you'll find that your life does become abundant. And that's why I ended my post last night. We are all worthy of living an abundant life, because we are. Yeah. Every single person on this earth is worthy of living an abundant life.
Yep, you deserve happiness. You deserve good life.
You deserve to experience
all the good
love
shit
on the deepest. You're worthy of being wealthy. You're worthy of feeling happy. You feel like, I could keep going, but with this whole COVID thing, I do feel like it's dividing a lot of people. And like, again, thank you, Alicia, for reminding me, hold people in love. Like, I've had conversations with people where they've gotten into me because I'm like, look, whoa, like, I'm not discrediting, I'm asking a question and critically thinking about a topic.
Yeah.
But I'd love to understand why you feel that. I'd love to understand why you believe that.
Yeah, so and like you said with your dad, trying not to go in with a bias, like it's like
that
understand the other side of it.
Right?
Yeah.
React or response. You're going to react to that topic and go, well, fuck you, or you're going to respond and be like, I understand to an extent where you're coming from, but can I understand deeper?
Exactly.
And so that's another thing. I don't know.
I'm open to everything, bro. Like, honestly, like we've been saying this whole thing, there's no judgment. There's always, if someone can provide me with enough information on something to prove to me that it is worth understanding and believing what they've just said, sick. I'm open to it. I'm happy. So this is another thing. This is another tool that I would love people to take on. Be okay with being the dumbest motherfucker in the room.
Yeah.
Because I love that. I love learning. I love being the least smart person in the room. Because normally I am.
Shoshin mindset, beginner's mindset.
Bro, I understand, and I'm not putting myself down. I'm not saying I'm stupid because I'm a dumbass. I understand my limitations. I am not smart. I was horrible at school. But what I do have, I'm passionate, I'm hardworking, I found my purpose. So everything based and going towards that goal, I will outwork anyone in that regard. And I'll know more things about things because I'm happy to sit here for 3 hours and learn about something. So there's that aspect. But yeah, I understand that certain things I'm just not smart at, which I'm okay with. And I have insecurities. That's one thing that I want to talk about.
We have so much. I know. We might have to do a second episode of this.
I think so. So we'll finish it off with this is, if we're going to talk, we'll talk about if you're going to give out your 5 best tools, let's say, for a healthy life.
So let's summarize this. So this is the tools that I've used to overcome depression, suicidal thoughts, a gambling addiction, drug addiction, and alcoholism. So these are my tools.
There's a lot there.
So there's a bit on.
Yeah.
Being able to like yourself and love yourself. So self-care, self-love, whether it be through meditation, through breath work, through ice baths, reading, exploring new ways of educating yourself. Like I said, I never used to be a reader, so now I've started reading books. Changing your environment to me was huge, building an environment and manifesting an environment that you felt was going to serve you on a deeper level. And that can always change. You don't need to set something in stone.
No.
And that's the thing, at gym as well, we don't say mindset, we say mind flex, because if you say set, it's set in stone. Whereas if you flex, it's flexible, it's malleable, it's able to grow.
That's
so
cool.
We say mind flex.
Yep.
I used my training, my diet, making sure you know what you're putting into your body. It's hard as well. This is where the system's so flawed that it costs you so much to buy organic produce that is chemical free, spray free, and everyone's like, oh yeah, but you can't afford it. Trust me, don't go buy a carton of beer for 1 week. Go buy yourself some organic produce.
Yep.
And you'll notice a difference. Your body receives that energy and your body then goes, thank you. And then that sense of gratitude then translates to you and you start looking around, being grateful for anything that's around you. So yeah, gratitude, again, that's another thing.
Gratitude's a huge one. Be grateful, man. Every morning, every day.
It can be hard as shit at times when you're feeling at your lowest.
Yeah.
To turn around and be like, I'm grateful for something. But even if it's just, you know what? I'm grateful for having a hairy body.
Yeah.
But it's taken me
a lot of hair, boy.
I'm a hairy man. And It's taken me a long time to love that aspect
that's
of
you.
me.
That is you. Yeah.
But self-care in whatever form it takes in your life and being open to exploring new avenues of self-care, because you might stumble across something like, fuck, I never thought I'd be interested in that.
Yeah.
And they could change your life, and then, reading, building yourself up around beautiful people that can hold space for you in that emotion too.
Yep.
And I guess one other thing as well is don't ever think your emotion's not valid.
Yeah.
So you could be sitting there feeling absolutely shit. You're allowed to.
Yep.
By every means, sit in that emotion.
Yeah.
Whoa, man, I feel like shit. But I don't identify as it. I'm not going to let myself become attached to that feeling.
That's cool. I saw someone this morning, actually, sorry to interrupt, but
No, that's fine.
I feel like I had to talk about this. There's this guy I follow, and he showed a video. He recorded himself actually yelling and swearing at some dude that had fucked him over a couple of times.
Yeah, right. Aggressive.
Yeah. So, but it was cool because then the next video was him talking about he had to show that anger. He hasn't been angry for a couple of years.
Wow.
Because he's come from a background of he's gone to jail and stuff, and he never wants to go back to that. But he said you need to do that. You need to identify that you're angry. You need to release it. You need to look back and say, okay, I acknowledge that, what I've just done. But don't revel in it. Don't sit in it. Just understand that's what's just happened. You needed to unleash for a second, because if you build it up, eventually it will build up to a point where you just unload and do something really bad.
Mate, it's like suppress or express. You keep suppressing that emotion, it compiles up. And it's like when you shake a bloody soft drink can, it's going to blow eventually.
100%.
So if you're shaking your body and your energy with all this negativity, and you haven't been able to expel it, and like I said before, you can change energies. The thing is, you keep compressing that over and over and over. No, it does get to a point where there's a breaking point.
Yeah, of course.
So if you can address that sooner and be like, I feel like shit. All right, well, what can I do then? What tools do I have? What can I go and and do that's going to remove or change that energy.
Give me the other side of it.
Yeah, for me, it was music.
Yeah.
Every time I'd feel down, all right, well, what song am I going to go play? Oh, okay, I'm going to go play this City and Colour song because those lyrics resonate with how I'm feeling. And I'd play the guitar and I'd be like, oh, and I'd cry and I'd be angry and I'd smash a glass or whatever. But then I'd be like, oh, I feel way better.
I feel good, yeah.
It's like, okay, so Mitch said this to me, my roommate. When you see an animal in the wild, like let's just use a zebra for example. A zebra outruns a lion in a chase. What's the first thing it does? It stops when it knows it's safe, shakes its body, freezes again, walks off like nothing fucking happened.
Yeah, the adrenaline's gone.
The adrenaline's gone. Shake that emotion off. Shake that energy off. Sit there, recollect, move forward.
Yeah.
And that's how I found with my breath work. I breathe, let it go, boom, I've reset myself. Okay, now on to the next thing.
Yeah, that's so important, man, because you can relate that to work stuff. If there's someone bullying at work or whatever it might be, that lion's still there all day. So that poor zebra is running, but it has nowhere to run. Yeah. And so the adrenaline's building up. So
it's like when you see a kid, like when we were all babies, we scream, we yell, we're like, we throw a tantrum for well, as an adult, you're like, why are they throwing a tantrum?
Yeah.
You don't understand.
You don't know.
They don't understand either for the most part.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they're just throwing a tantrum because they're like, what's this emotion? You know, but then a kid can so instantly they can be crying. Like my little godson, Bowie, he'll be crying. I'm like, mate, are you all right? And then all of a sudden he'll just stop. Why? Well, we don't know. But the thing is, as we grow older and society conditions us to not express those emotions.
Especially men.
Yeah, we hold it down. And it does become suppressive and depressive. And then we fall into bad habits, bad traits, and get depressed.
Yep. Man, that's...
We could definitely keep going for hours.
We've got another 4 hours in us easy. But we'll finish...
Can't believe we've got to go to work, damn
We'll finish on... I do too. We'll finish on... Actually, I'd love to do this at the end of each one is... Because I really want to focus on the Sunshine Coast.
Yes.
So first, we'll start locally. So if there's anyone that you want to shout out in the local area, say if it's an organic butcher, where you get your veggies from, if there's like Jim, Exalto, obviously you want to shout out. I
got all of them in my head. All right, so for my breath work... Definitely the team at Exalto.
Yep.
And Nicole. I think her Instagram's Nick Real. Well,
we can tag it.
I'll tag her.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously Jordan Potts, Connor Desmond. You know, for my food and dietary information and knowledge, I go to Tess Keatley. I used to live with Tess for a while when I was
Authentic Spoon,
correct. So I lived with her for a while, and she's helped me along my journey big time. And yeah, I really, really have a lot of time and love for her. Sheridan Austin is a woman I knew when we were in high school, but really came into my life this year when I went and did a retreat, Felt Retreats.
Felt Retreats is coming out again,
Felt
so
Retreats,
tickets available.
Anyone, like, if I could summarize everything that I've learnt into one thing, it's Felt Retreat. Like, fuck me, they nailed it.
It looked sick.
Dude, it's wild.
Down in Byron, yeah?
Yeah, well, the next one's up with Sundays, I think, maybe.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so I got to try to figure out how I'm going to pay for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sheridan Austin helped me a lot. And, like, she's had a lot of, like, experiences with health herself, which has led her to where she is now. And her personality is so infectious to be around.
Is she a naturopath? Or dietitian?
I think she's... Oh, man, I don't want to say...
She's all these things mixed into one.
She's just, like... She's just
amazing.
Abundance of knowledge. It's just like you need it, and then like her personality is just even just like the most bubbly personality.
Yeah.
For my food, for my organic produce, I tend to go to Kiwana Farmers Markets on a Saturday morning. It's like my tradition. Like my brother and I will get up at Sparrow Fart, be like one of the first ones there. We're friends with everyone there now.
Yeah, it's a cool little culture there, isn't it?
Awesome, man. Bucock's Quality Meats.
Yeah, bro, just up here.
Yeah,
man,
they're on your doorstep. Yeah,
Joking that, yeah.
They're weapons. So another thing, just briefly, is like, and it is hard, is the importance of knowing where your meat comes from if you eat meat. Like knowing if it's grass-fed and grass-finished. Look into that. Do your own research on that. But it's something that I've learned about over the last few weeks, or the last few months, sorry, is my meals grass-fed, grass-finished.
Yep.
Another one where I get my meals from, which I've just ordered, is Michael and Monique. They own Lavali. It was called Chef Ready. They've only just started doing their stuff now called Lavali. So I've just ordered all their stuff. They've got all organic produce, all grass-fed, grass-finished meats. They give you the protein and the sauce, and you just add your vegetable sides. It's a healthy alternative to the people that feel like they're too busy to cook restaurant-quality meals.
Yep.
So I've gone and ordered like their satay chicken, their beef rendang, and all these other things. Man,
sounds
it looks,
unreal.
oh, bro, it looks that good. Especially coming into winter, it's like, yeah, give me that comfort food.
Yeah, 100%.
And knowing that you can eat that food and not feel guilty.
Yep.
With my training, obviously, Exalto has been a massive role in my life. And Jake and Callum Krause from Corrective Culture, which is
boys are doing big things.
Huge. They're changing lives, man.
Yeah.
Like they helped me with my gut parasite cleanse. If anyone has questions, reach out to myself or them. My friends, like all my friends.
Yeah.
All my friends. Like ever since
You got a good network, bro.
A lot of them are my family, and I'm very grateful
big
for that.
family, actually.
We have got a big
family. But you're always together, which is cool. Like, I don't know many families that spend that much time together and actually enjoy each other's company. And
well, the funny thing is like we're second cousins. We're not direct cousins.
Yeah.
But a Sherwell's a Sherwell to us.
Yep.
So, very, very fortunate for my friends that ever since I've come out and shared my story, how supportive they've all been, understanding and going, oh shit, we didn't realize. And the thing is, like, you could be feeling like shit, and your friends aren't going to know unless you talk to them.
Exactly.
We're not mind readers. We're not here to read minds. Yes, some people can be open to reading energies, but we still can't read thoughts or know exactly what's going on unless we ask the question.
And the worst thing is when you're in that space, you feel like a burden. You don't want to tell people.
Fucking oath you do.
Yeah.
But you're not.
I've had a mate say it to me multiple times. Even though I've had these conversations and we've gone deep, bro. Like there'd be nights where we're just having a drink because I love getting on the piss. Like I can control myself. Drinking isn't detrimental to me. Some people just shouldn't drink. But for me, it's a release. I love it. I have a good time. Yeah. So we get deep, bro. Like, and I don't want to say his name, but we've gotten to a point where we'll get so deep and I feel like he's on a verge of getting better. And then he just goes back into this, and because he feels like a burden to me, I was like, mate, we've been talking and helping each other through so much for the last 12 months. Surely by now you understand that I'm here for you if you need to unload anything. So this is I bring that up because I feel like men are in that space of, I don't want to be a burden. I'm meant to be the man. I'm meant to be a stoic, which you do want to be a stoic, but you also want to get help if you need it.
Yeah, you definitely want some, like, to have a bit of stoicism about you, but at the same time still being connected with your emotions for sure.
Yeah.
Who else can I give a shout out to on the sunny coast that have helped me lately? Like obviously my dad and my mum, especially over the last, and my brother, but dad and my mum over the last couple of weeks and months. But big shout out to my brother, given everything that him and I have been through. You know that.
Big ups, bro. Gas each other up because you two have gone through some stuff.
To watch that man grow into who he is today is fucking inspiring for me. And I know at times he finds it hard because like he's obviously going through his struggles, but like for him to know that I'm there for him, because he's made such an impact for me, and like being the older brother as well, like to get such inspiration from a younger brother is wild. And like big ups to my brother, because like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't train as much as I do. I wouldn't practice what I preach as much as I do, because like
he's keeping you accountable.
He's keeping me accountable, man, and he's wanting to learn more as well, which motivates me to learn more. And
that's all you need, man.
Yeah, and it helps us build that better connection with each other, and then able to be there and show up for one another when we need it.
Yeah, bro, that makes me sad because it's like I look at my little brothers and you want to be a leader, but you end up in such different lives and lifestyles and different beliefs and different values. And unfortunately, I just didn't really get to grow up with them because they're in Woodford. So I grew up here and all my mates and family here. So, but you know, I love them. I love my family. And you're right. Like if you have someone that you can create that connection with, and if it's your own brother, sick. You know, I've got a couple of really good mates that I've always lent on, especially Tyce Andrews. Always knows what to do. It's weird. It's like, and then my beautiful girlfriend. You know, without Tams, bro. Yeah. Obviously, you saw me fucking just fall to pieces last year without her. You know, she's my everything. So.
You did well, man, to hold yourself in that space.
I'm pretty proud of myself to get through that shit, man. Like, and the fact that I came out the other side, grown, like I learnt more and came out the other side an even better person. But I think I am who I am because of her. Yeah. There's a lot. Obviously, I've done a lot myself, and I'm big ups to myself, gas me up. But fuck, man, Tams, if I hadn't met her, and we'll go into that on episode 2 some point down the point.
We're definitely doing another one.
But yeah, bro. And I'll give one little shout out to someone locally. Perfect Supplements. I had a call from their, I don't know, they're a small group. There's like 3 of them, she said. But I get my beef liver from them. So like little capsules, desiccated.
All right, I'm messaging you because I want them.
Dude, holy shit, they are amazing. So I went to buy it the other day and realized I still had a couple left. And she called me. She's like, hey, Trav, I noticed that you had this in your cart, whatever. Great customer service. She wasn't trying to force me. She was just like, is there anything I can do? I can give you a discount. Anna, I think her name was, but it's just a little husband
business.
and wife owned, and she works for them.
Unreal.
And I just want to gas them up because, like, Perfect Supplements, fuck, the stuff they've got's unreal.
Yeah.
It's all natural, organic. It's Australian. I can't remember. They're on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But incredible products. So,
Wow.
yeah, man. Yeah.
I've got one more person I want to thank.
Oh, awesome.
And it's Alicia, the girl that I've been, hanging out with a lot lately.
Cool.
She came into my life at a time where I wasn't looking, as it happens.
Usually how it works, bro.
When you're not looking at all.
And you're working on yourself, and they
I was in
see
a
that.
full point of self-healing.
Yep.
And she's, in the short amount of time we've known each other for just nearly coming on a month, for the short time we've gotten to know each other, she's helped me grow into my more authentic self with my spirituality and stuff like that, which has ultimately helped me, ground myself in a lot of these tools and practices that I've been learning over the years and really delving into it. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to her. No matter what happens between her and I, I'm just so grateful that woman
I've met her, 100%
walked into my life. So yeah,
bro,
shout out.
I love that because you can appreciate what we were saying way back then is like hold no grudges. I appreciate anyone I've had in my life, even like my ex, Grace, she did a lot for me when I was younger. And Tams is still, we went and had lunch together, bro. We had dinner together.
Wow.
This is my now current girlfriend having dinner with my ex-fiance.
That's huge, yeah. That's
so that
big,
shows you what type of person Tamara is, bro. Like she's just understanding. She respects me. We have trust. Yeah. That's how a relationship should be.
Yeah.
And
I think it's big as well that what you mentioned about Grace, and like I feel the same way about my ex-partner Bridget is like, that love was amazing at the time, and I knew because obviously that's how I met you was with.
Oh, that's right.
Grace.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like to show love in those instances as well, because Bridget helped me a lot. She was the one that helped me seek.
She helped you through your darkest times, right?
Yeah. So I don't, I feel like maybe there's still resentment on her side, maybe, or that she hasn't forgiven me for what I did in the relationship. But I just I want to let her know that I hold her in a place of love.
Yeah, that's cool,
I made a promise never to throw away our friendship, and I haven't.
Yep.
And thank you.
That'll heal over time for sure. Like
if it does, it does. As long as she's happy, man. I just want shout out to her for helping me through a dark time.
Sick. I rate it.
Thanks so much for having me, dude.
Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for coming on. That was unreal.
Till next time, because we've still got another bloody 3 hours we got to do.
Yeah, so thanks for anyone that actually sat through that, 2 and a bit hours?
I think 2.5, yeah.
There's a lot to unpack in there. Sorry if we went off course, but we feel like there was obviously just energy that we needed to disperse a little bit. Hopefully there's some value hidden in there somewhere. I think there was a lot.
And if you've got any questions, reach out. Like, fuck.
Where can they find you?
So my Instagram's just Josh Sherwell _.
Cool.
I don't use Facebook, so don't contact me on there. Instagram would be your best bet. If you want to, I've got my own podcast, Humung Beings podcast.
Yeah, we should shout that out before you get off.
Yeah,
because I've heard your first episode. I'm going to listen to the second one with Connor.
Comes out today.
Sick. So the Stoic Juggler.
Yeah, well,
he's changed that now, has he?
He's changed it.
Hey.
So this is why you should listen to the episode, because Stoicism was a massive part of his life. And his philosophies have changed. And it's awesome watching people grow, man.
And he's open to it, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. It's sick. So, we in our podcast, we touch on mental health. We talk about like suicide. We talk about, holistic approach to health. We're going to be talking about, drug addiction, all that sort of stuff. We're going to talk about, a lot of exciting things. I don't want to go into too much because we're releasing every fortnight. We've got all these episodes backed up for the last few months, but
that's cool.
We're going to drip feed people. We don't want to
That's how I wanted to do it, but now I was like, you know what?
No,
I'm just going to have to do it. Every couple of weeks I'll get someone in, have a chat, and
it's different. There's 3 of us, 3 hosts and a guest, so it's hard to get 4 people's schedules on track. So that's why we bank it all up, then we release it. But Humung Beings podcast is where you can find us.
Cool.
But if you have any questions regarding anything or my journey, it's Josh Sherwell _ on Instagram.
Perfect. Unreal, bro. Thank you so much for coming.
Bro, I'm so grateful.
Grateful.
Very grateful. Think about this. This all came about from a motivational post on Instagram a year ago.
Man, and that's how I've met a few people there in my life now, actually, just literally through social media. Yeah. And they've said, man, I love what you're doing. Yeah. Let's hook up.
It's powerful.
Love it. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.